I got myself a character appropriate drink.
I am drinking the customary
It's just
Captain Nick Coke.
I just have to be very
Always.
careful with my character appropriate drink.
Jesse's like, I don't know what to do with this.
I hate drinking. I used to just drink them out of a tumbler because it was easier.
Yeah.
But I figured character appropriate. Why is everything different now? What the shit?
What do you mean? What's different? What's different?
Um, I
The
don't.
backgrounds and everything are the backgrounds from the Xanthar's Guide to Everything.
Did I
Yeah,
not have that last time? I just had the default thing
yeah.
with
It
the.
was. I think it was the
Oh,
default thing still.
interesting. Is it working for you, Nikki?
What?
If Fantasy Grounds, does that appear to be working?
Yes.
Okay, because I think last time because this is what I normally load up for myself when I'm working in Fantasy Grounds, because it looks way cooler.
And but you give us the shitty default thing. Thanks for
Well,
that.
no,
For
I
me.
had to because Nikki's computer kept crashing every
Oh,
time I
that's
tried to
right.
load up the
Yeah.
cool skins. So now that it's working, I'll keep this.
Everybody needs to go to the Twitch thing so that we at least have a few people actually in the Twitch channel.
That's a good point. I'm gonna do that real quick. I don't know what your is.
Hang on,
I don't know where the underscore is.
you lazy bastards.
I'm getting it. All right, I got it.
Send you garbage people a link. How do I get my character sheet? I go there.
Okay, I think I'm up and running. I'm not doing music. Fuck music for me.
Okay.
All right.
I get all my spells and stuff back, right?
Yeah, you guys are basically downtime right now, so you are. I'll just do a long rest on the party. Hang on one second.
Oh, I did take this guy's self. Good. Well, that's all I really
Yeah.
wanted. Don't watch the stream, or at least mute it, because I can hear it.
I know.
Okay. I gave everybody a long rest, so you guys should be able to.
I'm just making sure I don't miss anything.
I got all my hit points. Oh wait, I didn't lose any hit points anyway. It's the best combat in the world.
I think this might be the only combat where you haven't ever lost hit points.
Yeah, I only had one combat action. I killed a guy. I'm at 100% efficiency.
One strike, one kill. I gotta launch some stuff here.
All right.
What is? Oh, gotcha. Oh, I thought I was two. Yeah. All right, cool. So we'll start off here by I need to do some rolling for your guys' downtime activities.
This is gonna be my downtime music. What do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Be very
Start with
careful.
start with book.
You're muted, book. Or I muted you on
No.
accident.
You must have muted him.
Oh, there we go. Say something.
Something.
There we go.
Okay. Book, go ahead and roll for foraging, I guess. So it's going to be intelligence with proficiency. Wait, are you proficient with alchemist supplies?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then intelligence plus proficiency.
Int plus proficiency. Great. I don't have any skills that I've got int plus proficiency.
Are you not? Let me see here. 1 second.
I don't have alchemist supplies on the skills page yet.
I'll just add that here real quick. And we'll make it a int based proficiency. There you go.
Cool.
That's
Rolling. Oh, I
It's
rolled
fine.
poorly.
That's not that bad. Roll me a d12.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, a d12. Nice. Roll me a d8. 3. Okay. So you have the supplement for the alchemy, right?
Yeah, let me bring that up.
Oh, Woodstock.
Whoa. Hold on. Okay.
So
I've got
you
it
see common ingredients, you roll a 12, so you got to roll the special ingredients table. You got 3, which is wisp stalks.
Nice.
Right? And then roll me a d4. So you were able to acquire 2 of those
Interesting.
in the few days of downtime. Robin, are you? What are you proficient in with your tools?
Everything.
Okay, everything. That's right. You're a bard. You're proficient in everything.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and make me a intelligence roll.
Hang on, I'm dragging my sorry butt
Because
back.
poisons are like super powerful in this setting, and they're super expensive. And I haven't decided
Okay, what am I rolling? What was that again? One more time.
Just roll intelligence for me, an intelligence check. Which you have a +3 on, so it's pretty good.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
It's pretty decent. Okay. And alright, I have that noted. Nikki or Jet. Hang on, I just locked that in. Either that or everybody just went silent all at once.
I'm here.
I mean, yeah,
Right.
it was quiet for a minute.
Do you want me to talk more?
No, you're good. Hang on 1 second.
Wait, that's it? I don't get anything? I just rolled a 19 and that's going to be the end of it?
You do. I just have to get this. So, because poisons are not something that you just like, spend like 3 days on and you have poisons. Like it doesn't quite work like that. Because they're so expensive in this setting because they're super powerful. So I need to figure out what I'm doing with that specifically.
Oh, but just you're really quiet. Okay, hang on. Complaint from the Sound Gallery. Or the Peanut Gallery? Whatever it is.
That's Holliston. Hi, Holliston.
Yeah, I know it's awesome. I tried to bring everybody else's volume up, so hopefully that helps.
Hi.
Gotcha.
I wish I could see your face.
Okay. And then Nikki, roll me a percentile die. So it's going to be 2d10. Or if you actually just right click on your dice. Nope, there's not a percent thing. I don't know why. Thought there
Lies.
was. Thought there was a percent thing. Yeah, 2d10. So you are at a 67. Okay. And let me roll this here. Okay. You were able to acquire a. Hang on a second. Where's your character? Here's your character. There.
Sweet.
So it should be in your inventory. Okay. I'll work out your poisons, Jesse. I promise. I just haven't gotten around to figuring out how I'm gonna do that yet because, like, by the way the setting says is like it takes months to create one of these poisons. So.
Months?
Yeah, it specifically said. Wow.
Good God.
It's a significant amount of d6s.
So apparently, if you right-click on a die, it brings up a thing that gives you a custom a number that you can roll.
Yeah.
So I clicked on 20.
Oh, you roll 20 of that die. Oh, check it out. If you right-click on the d10, there's a percentile thing.
Yep.
You have to right-click specifically on the d10.
Oh, that would have been better.
Wow.
Well, you don't know if it would have been better. Maybe I do low for percentiles. 1% chance is pretty good. Like if you hit a 1% chance. Anyway, let's get on with the story here, if that's okay. If anybody has any questions about where we were at, last session you guys took down a sort of kind of fugitive guy that stole from Ebonclad. They stole a hit. His name was Dale. You guys tracked him back to his lair in the slums and efficiently dispatched of him and his crew. Retrieved the loot, and that's what you guys got for your payment. You guys went through a few days, didn't really hear anything from Reese, who is your keeper. You guys each ventured out on your own. That's his title. Keeper.
I know. Still sounds weird.
So you guys ventured out on your own things in the meantime. There's not necessarily always constant missions to be run, but they let you know. A few days go by, probably about 4 or 5 days, and Reese summons you guys all to the harbor. If you let me bring up the map here.
Have you started actually labeling the maps now?
The maps are labeled fairly well. Why?
Because last time, if I clicked on images and maps, there was just a bunch of random numbers up there.
What do you mean?
I can click on images and maps, and any map that you've shared, I can bring up. Group.
Okay. Right.
New.
But there
it
you
is.
mean just a bunch of random numbers?
In the last game we were playing, when I tried to bring up the stuff that you had shared with us in that, so that I could bring up the maps or anything if I accidentally closed it, it just had, like, the file name was a bunch of numbers.
Oh, I have
an
no
actual
idea why
labeled
that
map.
could be. Oh, I don't think that's me. All my maps are named. I'm not sure why it was showing weird on yours. I haven't done anything special, so. Okay, so if you guys take a look, the harbor is kind of middle east area of the town there,
Hmm.
and we will start here. So you guys each receive your summons to meet him by the harbor. You guys make your way down that way eventually, and you guys find your previous team -1 assembled by the harbor, seated on a bench on a blue sunny day. Here, the sound of street vendors crying for attention of sailors rises above the constant drone of the city, and the smell of the bay is so strong you can taste it. Walking in your direction with his hands in his pockets is Reese Kincaid, your keeper. He whistles a jaunty tune as he joins you on the benches. He addresses you. A fair day for business, he says, after giving you a few nods of acknowledgement. Don't be too unnerved by the daylight. At night, we hide in the shadows. At the day, here in the harbor, among the thousands in this city, we're practically invisible, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. To his point, people walk past you in all directions without giving you any sort of curious glance or anything. No one comes to this part of the city without purpose, and to them, you're just another group of citizens. Reach gives you a moment to soak that in and points to the carrack at the port. On its largest sail is an emblem of a spear's business end. That, my friends, is the spearhead. We did some work for its former captain, or rather, we did some work on its former captain. The guild took on a client named Alice Carl years ago and arranged for a few snaps so that Miss Carl would find herself the new captain of this vessel. She sold out our team of operatives and then took her new toy clear around the world to make herself a living as a renowned trader. As you can imagine, it's left a bad taste in our mouth. Now that the good captain has returned to port, we'd like to remind her of life without our services. The powers that be would like to see her ruined, and they've specified that she live to witness it. You are here to find a way to discredit her traitors, or discredit her as a traitor, find a way to sour her relationship with her crew, and most importantly, find a way to relieve her of ownership of the spearhead. Do what you must, but don't attract any attention to yourselves, and Alice is not to be killed. The next time that ship leaves harbor, we want her standing on a pier watching it go.
Right, so question to 10. Does the ship still have to be floating at the end of this?
Yes, that would be a very expensive commodity to
Just checking, just checking,
destroy.
just checking. No problem.
That was my thought too.
Secondly, this Alice, she's so they're a bit of a trading ship. What do they normally carry?
She hasn't been in port here since her ruse with the operatives that granted her the ship. But it's mostly just trade goods, spices, whatever she can get her hands on that might fetch something exotic. Maybe, I'm not sure. But
Anything on the maybe the not on the up and up.
um, I guess I wouldn't know exactly. She seems to be in a bit of a panic so far in town that she's trying to get rid of something, but we haven't decided what it is yet. We haven't found out what exactly she's trying to get rid of.
Okay, okay. No, good to know. Good to know.
So discrediting her would take something scandalous.
Well, I mean, I have just a really good. I've been doing too much research. I have an idea.
I've got
It's
a question that may be pertinent to the issue.
Sure, sure. What's up?
Have the port inspectors already taken a look at the ship?
They have, but most of the time for trading, unless they're taking it off the ship, they're not going to necessarily look at it. We don't have they don't have the resources to search every ship as it pulls in. So normally they inspect offloading cargo only.
That's a shame.
but most of them are pretty easily bribed as it is anyway. So I don't know if I'd put too much trust in that, even if they did.
Right. Do we have? I mean, if she's trying to offload something in a hurry, right? It's probably worth something, and it's probably somebody else's. We can hope, or something somebody is going to want. If we arrange to purchase said thing, steal it. No, no, no. Oh, no, this is better. It gets so much better than that, actually. We pose as the brokers for the sale of the item to like a legitimate person that would want to purchase the thing, right? Then we steal the thing and replace it with a fake thing before the sale. Sale goes down. They discover it's a fake. She's discredited. None of the crew gets paid. I think that checks all the boxes.
Sure. I would just warn against being too directly involved in this, as you don't want any attention on yourselves.
Right, but if we're just the broker, we're just going to kind of backroom deal it. Like, we just kind of arrange the meeting, happenstance and whatnot.
This calls for a disguise montage.
Montage. I mean, I've got spells for that. I mean, that I can use, plus disguises, yeah. Certainly.
I've got disguise.
If you guys are comfortable with your disguises, all I know is that she's not to be killed at the end of this, and we don't want her stalking you as far as finding out what your role in any of this was, because that's going to lead to questions, and we don't like questions about any of our.
Well, I mean, this is all circumstance based off of what the thing she might be trying to offload is. I mean, we need to find that out first, and then kind of go from there, right? I think that's probably the safest move. I was just thinking 3 steps forward.
Do note, I've heard that she's been overheard saying that she plans to leave in 6 days. So there's a bit of a time crunch on this.
Of course. Why wouldn't there be a time limit on her? We've got 6 days.
We could also get something very bad that's sketchy and put her or replicate her spearhead banner.
Oh yeah, I mean, depending on, like I said, it all kind of comes down to what the thing she might be trying to offload is. If it's not something we can use, then I suggest we go with, trying to organize a mutiny / implementing her for, framing her for a crime she didn't commit.
Right.
I mean, but I just figured if she was trying to offload something valuable, if we could steal that in the process and set her up to sell something fake, then we have the valuable thing. So it's like win-win-win, not just win-win.
What if we don't even broker? We just steal the fake thing or steal the thing and replace it.
Right.
It depends on what the thing is.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even try to broker the sale. We just.
Well, when I say broker, I'm not necessarily like directly broker the sale. Just point people in the right, be the invisible hand of the market that moves people in the right direction, kind of thing. I have somebody I can reach out to see if, to maybe help with that. That wouldn't be able to be traced back to us.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm so plotty now. I like it. I can be smart. It's so much fun. All right. So first plan is figure out what she's trying to sell. So I'll do a dead drop again for that information, Z.
Okay.
Because I might as well use the guy for something. While we work on it, just in case we fail, he might come through, kind of thing.
All right.
It's a good backup plan.
Yeah.
And then would we know kind of where Like, we would know where you would go to trade, right? Like, and to trade things that may not be savvy.
Like
In
black
the
market area.
Yeah.
Yeah, underground,
Yeah.
underground. Sure, you guys would definitely have a pretty good grasp on where people would go. If it wasn't through Ebonclad specifically, where people would trade certain black market items or things that they were trying to get rid of without, the town's guard
Right.
and the, the royal guard finding out.
I probably know
Holliston
at
has
least 2 or 3
suggested
fences.
Right.
Holliston has suggested that we give her cookies that say "Eat me," but lace it with sleeping powder.
I'm not against this idea.
Sure.
Um.
I just don't know if my character is good at baking.
I mean, I'm kind of good at everything.
Kind of
The
good
wonderful
at
thing
everything.
about being
I
a
like
bard.
it.
um. All right. Questions for Reese before we go. Discredit the captain. Steal the ship. Needs to stay alive. I'm gonna write that down. Stay alive. Devil's in the
Does
details.
anybody else have the Bee Gees stuck in their head now?
Stay alive.
The who?
I just got that
Steal the
scene
ship.
from The Office.
Find the thing. All right. Great. Yeah. No, I think that's it. She stays alive. We discredit her. Crew hates her. She gets booted off as captain. And how exactly do we steal the ship?
Well,
Do you
I
have a
guess I'll give
captain that
you a
we
bit
can
of
put
a.
into place?
Interesting you ask. I will recap the previous operation that was done um, a few years ago.
Okay.
When we did help her, the guild forged a deed of ownership for the spearhead for her. Then the operatives drug the spearhead's current captain, a man known as Mumford St. James, and murdered his closest men, disguised their deaths as an accident. Alice used the drugged captain, destroyed his original deed of ownership, and telling the world that she won his ship in a game of Zacier. Mumford's reputation as a drunk helped to settle the lie, and even he believed it's his signature on the fraudulent deed, signing the ship over to her.
So what if we spread a little bit of the truth along with stuff to discredit her, that she didn't win, that not that the Thieves Guild helped her, but she just took advantage of a situation.
She got the captain drunk and
Killed him, but did
killed
not
him
win the
and
actual game
got
because
him to sign.
they love the frick fracking game.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's not bad.
I mean,
I
that
was
could
also
be,
thinking, but I mean, also, if the captain gets arrested, then they're not the captain anymore.
well,
Like, I mean, I'm gonna say we can get if we get her in jail, then we
yeah.
can put in. So who do we have that we could put in place? Because that would be stealing the ship, right? I mean, was
Um,
stealing the ship not in it? Did I make that part up?
we don't care if who owns the ship as long as it's not her.
Okay.
We could also
And
steal the deed.
Yeah.
now stealing the deed would be one thing, but as far as a deed goes, you would have to have a replacement deed like the previous operatives had,
Well,
which I
we
could
work
get
for the
you
Thieves
as long
Guild.
as.
Yep.
Exactly. I can definitely make accommodations for that as long as we have a target in mind for who that is, because we'll need signatures forged, we'll need the proper paperwork written up for the transfer of ownership.
Okay. So we need to identify a target as for the new captain. Um, Someone that would be loyal to us, but not know who we are. That'll be fun.
So
Um,
we don't care if it's someone loyal to us. We don't actually care
oh,
about this ship
okay.
at all.
What if
We
there's
want
some?
it in someone else's hands, and we want her to suffer.
Okay, I didn't know if. Okay, okay.
What
Following
if
the
there's some
second.
animosity among the cruise ship, even a little bit? We could amplify that a bit and suggest that one of them take ownership?
Yeah, I think I think we got a lot of good. I think we
Thoughts.
yeah, I think we got a
Let's
lot
figure
of
out
good.
what she's trying to get rid of first.
Can we get well? How long is it going to take to get a deed ready? Like how long if we decide to go like with that?
I would need at least a day's advance
Okay.
to get the proper paperwork, and I would need names
Right.
of who it is so that we can try to gain signatures.
Right. And then uh I guess out of game. Am I correct in assuming that if the captain gets arrested, she forfeits like she's no longer the captain of the ship? Is that how
Not
that works?
necessarily. No, I mean just because she gets arrested, her property would still be her property.
Oh, all right.
But it would discredit her.
Right, right. Yeah.
Perhaps depending on what she got arrested for.
It would be yeah. If we get it for bad kinds of trade, whatnot, then we should be good.
Right.
Like that
Right.
would. That's why I say like if we implement it as that, then she should have a harder time retaining her commission. So okay, so we've got a lot of good ideas. We just need to now go do some legwork. 2 hours later.
Two.
Um,
Fade scene.
yeah.
Where was this disguise montage?
We wouldn't
Montage.
be doing that sitting on a bench in a park.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I
Make
have
me feel weird.
disguise self, so I could just and start walking.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
Actually, I'll probably just do that. Um, well, let's see. How do we want to? Okay, so how do we want to do, and what do we want to do?
Well,
We need to get on. We need to find out. So, like classic D&D rules state that you never split the party, but at the same time, I feel like this
in this
campaign,
instance, we
like
kind of need
you
to.
have to, like it treats us better to split the party. You know what I mean? Like,
Like,
It could.
I could
seems
easily
like
infiltrate the ship and go into the captain's cabin, maybe steal some correspondence to get signatures for
I,
foraging,
I think
things like that. Maybe see if she's got anything written down in her cabin about whatever it is she's trying to sell. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could possibly find in there.
I like it. I like maybe baby steps though, because we don't want to get caught day one.
Well, that's a
We need to
matter of
find. We need to
we wait
find
until
out.
she's off the ship.
Well, that yeah, but I mean, there's other ways to get information, right? If one of us goes to the bars and tries to find crew of the ship and see if one of them is drunk and talking, and then the market to see if anybody's heard Alice come around asking, trying to get rid of something, like that would be an easy way to try and find out what without actually getting on board the ship.
That one's probably a job for you.
No,
I'm
that's
pretty much
fine,
a burglar.
right? But then once we figure out what it is, then I want to go onto the ship because we just want to. I want to have information beforehand.
Hmm.
I feel like once we step foot on the boat, then it's no shit game on, and we've got to do something. You know what I mean? Unless like if somebody wants to try and get on the onboard ship as new crew, um,
I could pull that
that way,
because I could just walk over there in regular clothes. I don't have
right,
to have equipment.
right. Yeah, that would get you on board without needing to sneak on board, and it'd be less suspicious that you were on the ship.
I could do that, insinuate myself into the crew. It wouldn't
Uh,
even be a disguise check. It'd just
yeah,
be
it's
I have a dagger and some plain clothes now, and all my other equipment gets left
minor
behind somewhere.
minor disguise work to change your face up a little bit.
Yep. Which I can pull that off because I've actually got proficiency with disguise kit. So
Okay. And then, Nikki, do you want to try? Do you want to take the market then, and see what you
Sure.
can dig up there? I'll take the bars. He takes the boat, and then. God, this is a three-way split. This is going to be interesting. It's either going to go great or we're all going to die today.
Well, it's either we're all going to pull off our part of the job and get back, and we have all the information and everything we need to pull this whole thing off perfectly,
or
somebody's going to fuck up somewhere.
and this is
Right.
this is a good point too. Um, we need a way. Is Reese still? Reese is probably gone.
Reese is
Um,
still kind of there. He's just kind of chilling. He's not doesn't
Would-
seem like he's in any sort of hurry. But
We should probably be having this conversation in character.
Most of it, I figured
most
was,
of it's
but
pretty much in character.
yeah.
But, yeah.
For me, it was. Plus or minus,
the accent.
plus or minus, plus or minus the accent. That's for you to decide. I may or may not have. I may or may not have several of those. Because Bard.
Can someone do some disguises on me before I go to the market? Because
How does that work?
Disguise self doesn't last all that long, I don't think.
That's a spell, but if you do like a disguise kit.
Oh, a disguise kit.
Yeah, I've got a disguise kit.
Right. So disguise self is only on yourself. You can't
Right.
do that on someone else.
Right.
And the wizard doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And the wizard doesn't have that spell.
In theory, her downtime could have been spent entirely on copying spells from the guild.
But the disguise kit definitely could have. A disguise kit could definitely work as basically it's cosmetics, it's hair, it's that kind of stuff. So
I think that's
you're
able
able to use that on someone else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's head down somewhere where I can take some time at this.
Pretty you up a bit. I'm gonna go talk to Reese real quick when I get a chance.
Yeah. So you two head kind of somewhere that's not so public and start kind of changing up your face a bit.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm gonna head to the nearest safe house where I can store all of my other gear.
Okay. Okay. So you are in the harbors. There's actually a safe house in the harbor, the residential section outside of the harbors themselves. You make your way to there, asking Reese where the closest one would be. You make your way to the safe house. You kind of step inside, and there's one armed person that's kind of inside, and he's just kind of standing guard. He approaches you with some basically a greeting that you recognize in Ebonclad, and respond likewise, so he knows that you're in the guild. So he lets you in. It's a pretty modest house. It's there's a sitting area, and there's like a bedroom in the back, basically, somewhere for people to kind of lay low and get some rest if they need to.
I hereby move that you make a full list of challenges and responses that we should have a file that we can go through and check for the next time. I think
I'll work
you
on
need to
that.
make
Actually,
one of those.
I'll work on that. That's a good idea. I like it.
I'm with it. I'm down with it.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna
so
talk
go ahead
to
and
I'm gonna talk to the person running this safe house, because I'm not really sure how long this thing on the boat is gonna take me, because I'm planning to, I'm gonna strip down basically into regular plain clothes and actually join the crew.
Okay. All right. So he says, well, I mean, you can take as long as you want. There's some lockers in the back. You can store your stuff. No one's. I guess you might want to lock it if you can, but I don't think anybody's gonna be taking anything. There's always somebody on watch here, so it's up to you.
That's fair enough.
But you get the sense that there's no urgency, like, oh, you have to have this back in an hour, or it's it's going to be gone.
Yeah. No, and I'll open up one of the lockers and put all my stuff in. I'll keep out the disguise kit and the I'll keep out the disguise kit and try to hide my thieves' tools somewhere on me in regular just clothing.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna see if the guy there at the place actually has just common clothes.
Sailor's clothes.
Yeah, it's like
Hard
sailor's
hat,
clothes, something like that.
Says there should be some
peg
some clothing in the back bedroom, and there's a closet in there. It's kind of a mishmash of different sizes and whatever, just things that people leave and never pick up for various reasons. But feel free to peruse through there. You go into the back, and yeah, it's just like this closet, just full of, I mean, anything from women's clothing to men's clothing, huge, small, things like that.
Jit. Maybe you should have a look around in here and see if you've got something that you can change into. Maybe a little less conspicuous than wizard's robes.
Alright. Give me the floofiest dress you have.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Something with floof.
You look through.
I want to look like I'm from Money.
While she's doing this, I'm over here. I'm, making a couple of changes.
Sure.
Changing my hair around, making myself look like, okay, maybe a landsman who's wanting to get a change of pace or whatever.
Sure. All right. You look through the limited clothing that they do have. There's nothing like with serious, like I came from money type dresses there. But you find some, like middle class, like fancier dress. It's to you it might be incredibly fancy. I'm not sure what you normally dress like, but it would be considered like formal for middle class.
Alright, that'll work.
As far as the disguise kit goes, it's going to pretty much be based on the other person's perception or investigation as far as how well they're able to see through a disguise. But really, book? Really? Okay, anyway. Anyway, so it's going to be basically based on the other person's perception, and if they would, suspect you of having, any sort of disguise on. But for the most part, a commoner isn't going to really see you as, be like, why would you be wearing a disguise, Okay, so you guys spend some time, get your makeup going. My purpose
for the disguise is just to look like not me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I can roll a disguise check.
Go ahead and roll a disguise check.
Ooh.
Wow. I look absolutely no different. I may actually look more like myself than I have in years.
No, I mean, you have plenty of time to make sure that you do it right, basically. So, I mean, I'm not really going to necessarily count that. So, especially since you're proficient in it, it's going to be something that you do pretty regularly. So, I'll
apply a appropriate disguise to our now floofy wizard.
Floofy wizard, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave my staff. Yeah. Probably should leave that.
Look like a sheep walking around on its hind legs like
that. I feel weird.
All right, Robin, you wanted to talk with Reese, so they kind of headed out, and you approach Reese. He's happy. He seems like he's a pretty happy guy in general. He's just like, hey, what's going on?
Hey, bruv, yeah, I was thinking, we hit a bit of a snag last go round, and was hoping maybe you could help us out with something in regards to communication between the lot of
Okay.
us, uh, so that we could be quiet and still be in contact with each other. Didn't know if that was something maybe the guild could provide us to make things, less likely to go pear-shaped.
Walkie talkies.
Do you mean like some sort of magical communication device?
Yeah, I mean, if you had one handy, that would be great.
Ah, I. It's not really something we keep around. Well, it's not a bad idea, but
This can't be the first time that they've thought of this.
no, I mean it's not the problem. The problem lies that if somebody catches a hold of one of these devices and is able to listen in on any sort of communication that would be, otherwise not meant for their ears, that would be a problem.
Right, but if you had to wear, like, if it was like a piece of jewelry, like if it was just like a spell put into jewelry, maybe that you could have on you almost like permanently, like, I don't know, in an earring or something. I hate to go like on spot, but it's just such a good idea. But anyway, um,
Right.
like that it wouldn't just like fall out. You couldn't just drop it. It could be a ring, something that would take work to get rid of.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll put out some feelers and see if there's anybody that's got something like that. I'll let you know. As far as right on hand, no, we don't have anything like that. There's a lot of I don't know. There's just a lot of risk that comes with that.
What? We have to take 5 seconds because Halston got timed out.
She got kicked.
God damn, Nightbot. Stop spamming caps.
Nightbot's harsh.
I don't. The problem is I don't know how to fix that because I'm not cool enough with Nightbot to know. Um, Bad Nightbot.
Just say that. Just tell it bad
Wait,
night.
hang on. I know how to
Figures
do.
it out.
I know how to fix it. Mod.
Is that all you wanted to talk to Reese about?
Yeah, I just wanted to get that started because I figured it was gonna take some time. So right, Ruff, if
Sure.
yeah, if you could, just do some work on that and then let us know. That would be great. The sooner the better because this job's gonna have us going all over town. I don't need massive range on it, but if we're in close proximity and we'll be able to talk, that'd be
Sure.
wonderful. All right,
Let me see
thanks.
if I can figure something out. I don't know. Maybe one of the other teams has something like that already in the works.
Great.
Sounds like a good idea. I've never thought of it before.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah, by the way, we are getting
So
paid for this job, right? Like no one ever kind of went over that, but we do get paid.
you get paid for every job,
Okay,
and
just
he
making
kind of
sure.
looks at you like, really? You're gonna get paid
It's
for any job that you
come on,
do.
mate. Look, it's a little job.
Uh,
It's all right.
But I mean, most of the time it depends on how well you do. I mean, so we named off a few things that you need to get done. Let's say you get 2 out of 3. I mean, that's still not bad, but three out
But
of three would be better.
but if we get 2 out of the 3, but one of the three is that she dies, probably still don't get paid, right?
Eh, you know,
Right. That's what I
we'll
figured.
we'll see this. We'll evaluate the circumstances in her death and go from there.
Good to know. Good to know. Um. All right. So let's right, and so I will, and before they walk off, I guess we'll just kind of agree to meet, what, like 3 hours from now at X spot. Does that sound good? And I'll find the closest sailor bar to the harbor and point at it and say, we meet there in 4 hours or whatever it is. That work for everybody because we need to have a way to get back in touch because we don't have anything yet.
Yep.
and then I'll head off to said bar.
All right.
If you're within 30 feet of me, I can whisper to you.
Right, yeah, we can do that and stuff. That's cool, but at the same
So
time,
you're basically looking for like the nearest bar tavern
I'm
in
looking for
area,
I'm looking for a place
and
to drink where I can find that crew.
specifically that crew. Okay.
Right.
So you go to the Owl's Wager, which is a known gambling kind of like a gambling hall slash tavern slash inn, um, which is relatively close to the harbor. It's the closest one to the harbor. It's where most of the people that are passing through would stay. You walk in. There's the main game right now in the social stature is Zaire, which is very similar to chess. Um,
Fucking
and
Zare.
it
Quit trying to push Zare on us, Z. We don't want to play.
Hey, I'm not dude. I don't even know how. There's no rules about how to play the game. All it says is it's similar to chess.
Yeah, I know.
Uh, but you look around. There's a bunch of that game going on, and you spend a little bit of time just grabbing a drink and asking around.
Casey.
The one thing you note is that nobody has seen any of the crew members for the Spearhead. The Spearhead being the ship that Alice Carl is from. Nobody's seen any of the crew members outside of the harbor. They've basically been on the ship and they haven't left the ship. They have seen Alice Carl. She does have a room at the Owl's Wager, but none of her crew members, to anybody's knowledge, and you've gotten this same response from a few other of the crew members on other ships that are docked at the harbor, that they don't seem to be allowed, or they're not coming off of the ship itself.
Do I know which room's hers then?
Not specifically. Nobody really knows exactly which room is hers, but they say that she does have a room here, and she's also been known to do a little bit of gambling as well. The last day or so, she's spent her evenings there gambling away a bit of money.
Got it. Um, would like to. So I'd like to do however you want to go about it, but I wanna find that room without
Okay.
without breaking into that. Like I guess that's gonna be the new focus. If since none of the crew's there, but I know she's staying there, the new focus of my time there is gonna be trying to discern which room is. I don't know how big this place is, how many rooms it has.
So there's probably 40 to 50 different rooms.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's a large establishment.
Mm,
It's basically made its living off of the harbor. So it's very very well established, very well traveled. So without asking somebody specifically where her
no,
room.
no, we'd have to. I mean, with 40 to 50 rooms, I would have to ask somebody at this point.
Right.
Let me find. There's a. I'm gonna cast. Okay, so I'll cast in a private section somewhere, like whether it
Okay.
be the pisser or whatever. Um, I'll cast disguise self,
Okay.
and all I really just want to do. Okay, hang on, I got to get back to. Where's the? Okay, there we go.
So just note this guy's still flash for 1 hour.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's fine.
Yep.
I don't need it that long. I need it for 15 minutes. I'm
Sure.
really paranoid about things getting back to like us kind of deal. And I really want to make sure that doesn't happen
Yep.
more than anything. So disguise self is first level. So I'll do that.
Yep.
And basically just want to be like a dockhand, not crew, but we're going for courier. I have got a satchel of some sort anyway, and what my
Okay.
my
Okay.
plan is to present as like I have a delivery kind of thing, but I want to change my face slightly so that people wouldn't be able to recognize it. But height, weight, size, all that can stay the same. clothes type can say the same, but change colors a little bit. You know what I mean? So we're not doing anything really fancy with it. It's really just a convenience thing at this point. It's faster to just do this and go as opposed to go and find the clothes.
Sure.
So I'll do that, and then I'm going to go up to the inn keep, I guess, the inside of things.
Okay.
So who's there? What am I seeing then?
All right, so you head to kind of the front the front reception area, and there's an elderly lady behind the desk, and she seems to be not related to the bar or anything like that. It's more for the inn management side of things. So you approach her, and she's a fairly elderly lady. She's what can I help you with today?
Oh, ma'am, thank you for. I have had just a day, but I have a delivery here for Miss Alice, captain of the Spearhead. It looks, and I was told she was staying here, but it has been a day. I don't have the room number anymore. I'm sure they told me this morning, but I've seemed to have misplaced that part. Would you be able to direct me?
Yeah, you said Captain Alice? Would that be Captain Alice Carl?
The writing here is smudged. Captain of the Spearhead, though, right? I assume. And how many
I'm
Captain
not
Alices
sure.
could there be?
Yeah, I mean there's probably not too many. Let me see what I have here. And she starts flipping through a few books. Um, okay, yeah, looks like she's staying in room 27, which is if you take the stairs just up the second floor, you'll see it just on your left-hand side.
All right, thank you so much. I will get there straight away. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. You've been a doll. And then I'm just going
Thank
to
you.
turn and walk that general direction.
Sure. So you find the stairwell and you head up there. You find the door on the left-hand side. We'll hold there for a second. Theron and Jet, what are you guys up to?
Do I look pretty?
You look pretty, yes.
Well, that's subjective, really. But oh, sorry.
Did he accent my cheekbones and did he adequately highlight and I
Properly
don't know
framed
about
and
makeup,
highlighted.
so perfect.
I'd offer to roll for it again, but that
Yeah,
apparently
nobody
seems
wants
to
that.
suck.
It can't be any worse.
Let's just assume that you didn't fail it.
Okay. I roll another one. It looks like I've been blindfolded trying to put makeup on her.
You drunk. I'm gonna leave my possessions here except for my gold.
Okay.
And my money. Just my money in general.
Yeah, your money. Sure.
And Theron, when do you want to meet back up? I know what's your plan? I just want to make sure that we
Oh,
can...
didn't he give us some place to meet back up with later on?
Yes. You're still cool with that?
If I can.
Right.
I'm fully planning to go and actually join the crew, so I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Well, best of luck.
If I don't show up, I'll leave it up to you if you all want to come and try and find out what happened with me.
Alright. I'm gonna head out to the black market area.
Okay. There's not like a designated black market area.
Black market area.
You head to the
Excuse me, looking for the red light
area.
district.
Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go take care of something. But
there's a big sign that says black market, and it's conveniently fenced off, and you walk in. You do know a few fronts that would typically sell shady wares, things like that. Just being in this city with your background in the city, basically, you would know a few areas. So you go to make an investigation check for me.
Good thing I'm smart.
Okay, so kind of skewering around a few of the different fronts that you're familiar with, asking about Alice Carl specifically, um, you find that she's being very hush about what she's trying to offload. Best you can discern is it's some sort of creature slash livestock type thing, and it's supposed to be it's supposed to be very valuable to the right buyer, um, but what it is specifically, she hasn't said. She's been looking for a buyer for exotic creatures.
Is there one that she has in mind?
What's that?
Is there one that she has in mind?
A buyer? Not
Yeah.
specifically. She's
Would I know someone
basically
who'd be interested?
make let's see, what would that even be? History check?
History, probably.
Maybe history.
Hang on, let me see.
I don't know. Think if you can think of somebody. Yeah, think
animal handling.
I'll do history.
Yeah, just throw a history check to see if anybody in your past. So not right off the bat. What's that?
I was to make a joke about how that's what I got my degree in.
So
the truth.
So it's off the top of your head, I don't think you would know of a specific person that would want exotic animals. You can definitely keep that in mind and like ask around for if there's any sort of exotic animal collector or anything like that in the city. But right off the bat, it doesn't come to mind somebody that would want an unknown exotic animal, because at this point it is unknown.
Okay. Cool. I do want to ask around, and I don't know who you're jumping to next, but that's my next plan
that's
of action.
Fine. Okay, so go ahead and are you looking anywhere specifically, or asking somebody in particular? So you used to be the head guard for a noble house, so you still have a relation with them. I don't have that house name.
Is there anybody that is in this area that is or part of the military, or used to be part of the military? Because...
Hang on.
Because that's who I want to ask.
Okay.
Because I have a thing called military rank.
Sure. Hang on one second.
How do you... I just watched this episode of Leverage. I don't like how this is going. It's gonna be tough. Livestock?
I have not watched this episode of Leverage.
There's one where they specifically deal with a horse.
Oh Jesus!
And it's like the third episode in the season too.
Oh, okay. I'll get there eventually, I guess. Let me see. Hang on one second. So you used to serve with a man named Marius Villamov. He is now a ranking captain in the Kantala Guard. And you used to serve with him in the army for the region, but he kind of went separate ways. You went more towards private security. He went more towards the guard, the town's guard route. So you head over towards him and kind of approach him, and he sees you coming, and he kind of lights up. He's like, "Oh, Jet, it's been a while. Haven't you go into like his quarters, or not quarters, but like office where he's working. How have you been? What have you been up to?"
Oh, not much. Just getting my feet wet in the city, like just exploring. I'm, doing the private sector, as you know, but just looking for more opportunities and stuff. So, how's life in the town guard?
Not bad. It's a little bit more toned down than the army, but I make do. There's always It's always something to keep you busy around here.
What's the weirdest thing you've encountered thus far?
The weirdest thing I've encountered?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, it's hard to say. There's so many weird things. The other day we had a merchant come in, and he was selling some just off the wall stuff. I mean, totally illegal. These were drugs that I've never even heard of, but they made people just go crazy. So we're trying to clean up that, but they were illegal, and so we had to get it in. But I got a whiff of this stuff, and I think that's probably the weirdest stuff that I've ever
Try a little of that out for yourself.
Not intentionally. You know me. I'm pretty straight and narrow when it comes to that stuff. But it was something else. I didn't know which way was up for a while there.
So I got some friends that are thinking about joining the Spearhead. And
that ship just pulled in a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, and I've heard some interesting things, and I didn't know if you heard anything about them, about
the Spearhead.
Kind of
well,
what they deal in. I just want to make sure my friends are being okay. That they're not.
From what I know, they deal in exotic spices and foods, like from over across the sea, and I guess beyond that, I haven't heard anything. I mean, I'm familiar with their captain, Alice. She used to be a resident here and ended up I guess winning the ship and sailing away, and she's been, from what I can tell, doing pretty good. I mean, I don't see any red flags with it. It seems to be a reputable trade ship.
So you haven't heard anything else about it? I should give my friend 2 thumbs up that it's clean.
I mean, I wouldn't put my name on it. I don't know firsthand, but I will say that I haven't heard anything bad about it.
I'm just trying to see if he's being truthful to me or not. If I can tell he's being truthful.
Okay, make an insight check.
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did. From what you can tell, he's genuine. He doesn't seem to have any hesitation in his answers or anything that would lead you to believe that he's not telling the truth.
I also heard that someone might be bringing in some exotic animals.
Not that I've heard.
Okay.
That would be something that would. Okay.
Probably just rumor.
Is there a reason you're curious about it?
No, I already asked you
about
the weird stuff that happened.
Okay.
Well, I really wanted a monkey at some point, but I kind of decided that that's probably not, the best thing for me to have in my position. So.
Sure.
No, I just heard rumors. I didn't know if you knew anything about it.
Not that it comes to mind. Not that we. But if you find something out, I mean, we need to make sure that it checks out and it's not something that shouldn't be in the city.
Okay. I will let you know if I hear something else.
Sure.
I'm sure
that'd be great.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Good seeing you. Don't be a stranger. Stop by anytime.
Sounds good.
All right. With that, you walk out. So you're fairly confident that he doesn't really know anything about the necessarily underground trade or anything like that.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go back to our meetup spot. Well, first I want to go back and change.
Okay.
And then go to the meetup spot.
All right. So you make your way back to the safe house, and you do that. So Theron, you exit the safe house same time as Jet, and you are headed. You're now disguised in just everyday man's wares, and you are headed towards the harbor to try to join the crew of the Spearhead. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So you make your way towards the pier.
Mm-hmm.
1 second here.
We have 6 viewers on Twitch right now.
Oh, we're
Oh,
4
that's
of them.
3.
Famous. Famous, that's what that is.
1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 of us, Nightbot, and then Holliston.
No, Jesse, we're famous.
Okay, fine. Famous.
Hang on a second. Okay, so you head your way towards there, towards the spearhead. As you enter onto the pier that the ship is docked at, you start heading up, and are you trying to be stealthy heading up, or you're just walking up?
I'm walking
okay.
right up there.
As you start approaching the walkway onto the ship, you are meted by 3 individuals that kind of cut you off before you're able to get onto the ship. You're now probably about 15-20 feet from the walkway onto the boat, onto the spearhead. They kind of approach you and cut you off. Hey, what's going on? What can I help you with?
I'm looking to sign on with the crew.
Sign on? Did you hear that we were looking for people?
No, I'm starting here. I'm checking the ships, see if anybody needs more crew.
Do you have much experience?
No, but I can learn.
Okay. All right, you can learn. They kind of like looking you up and down, trying to get a size of you. What makes you think that you can just learn on the job? This is, most of these people have been sailors most of their lives. This is,
All of them started at some point.
True. They did all start at some point.
This is my start.
We can't really pay you much right now.
I'll open up my pouch. I've got 3 coppers. That's it. Now, most ships seem to have a place to sleep where I won't get shanked in the night. And usually the sailors get food.
Usually, yeah. I
figure even if I don't get paid all that often, I'm a sight better off than I'm right now.
All right, that makes sense. And the one in the male elf in the middle, he hasn't said anything yet. He just kind of leans in a little bit, and he says at a kind of a real hushed tone, he's like, "Man, I'll tell you what, if you're trying to find a crew to join on with, this isn't the one right now. I'm doing you a favor here."
I don't have any real other options.
I just, right now we're having a hard time enough feeding our own crew. We can't take on anymore until we get paid.
Is that a problem with getting paid? That's not normal, right?
It's not really any of your concern right now, but we can't afford to take on any more crew right now. There's already, we just can't afford anything else.
I guess all the stories about knocking over drunks to get extra crewmen for their ships is just a little bit played up, aren't they?
Yeah, basically. For this crew right now. Hit us up in 4 or 5 days before we head out. Might be a different story.
gotta try something.
There's a lot of other ships here. You can try some of them. But right now we can't take on any more crew.
I'll try a couple of them. If nobody's got anything better than that, if all you've got is no pay, but a place to sleep, and maybe some food, it's still better than I got right now. I'll check some other ships, but I'll be back, most likely.
I mean,
and I'll kind of turn around and walk off a little bit, heading towards the next dock.
Okay, make a perception check real quick.
And not the worst.
Okay. As you turn away, you hear him mutter something, but it's not clear what they're exactly saying, and then they head back onto the boat. It didn't seem to be directed at you, what they were saying, but yeah, it wasn't really clear. So, all right. What else do you want to do? Do you want to are you done with that avenue, or are you gonna probe that a little bit more?
I'm gonna walk around the harbor a little bit. At some point, I'm going to fall into the harbor and climb back out on purpose.
Okay. All right. Robin, what do you want to do? You're now at the door of apparently Alice Carl's inn room.
So tempting. I know. Delivery. Oh, I didn't change my. Well, I changed my appearance enough, right? Like I'm not recognizable as me.
Right.
Right.
A little bit different.
Right. Nothing. I mean, but change hair color, face, that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna knock on the door.
Okay, you knock on the door. There's no answer. You wait a little bit. There doesn't seem to be any sound coming from it. There's no like rustling.
Oh, it's so tempting. Is there hustle and bustle outside and around? Like
In the hallway you're at, no. Since you've been there, nobody else has come in or out of the rooms. It's a pretty secluded hallway. There's no like through traffic or anything like that.
Well, I guess I'll knock on the door.
Okay.
Like
Again.
no, well, I'm gonna try the door. Try the door. It's locked, right?
It's locked. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll knock.
You knock again.
Not that kind of knock.
Not that kind of knock. Okay. Okay. Make
and I will cast knock.
Oh. You have that spell.
Do you? It's all right. We're good so far.
All right.
You know what spell I don't have? Detect magic. But other than that.
Okay.
Oh, that's a big one. Okay, level 2 spell. Check. Got it.
That's a bit. Yep, that's a big one.
Did you read the whole spell?
No, shit. I probably should have. Everything's changed now.
Yeah.
Choose an object you can see within range. The object can be a door, a box, a chest, a manacles, padlock. A target that is held shut by a mundane lock or that is stuck around becomes unlocked or stuck around barred. If that is held shut with an arcane lock, that spell is suppressed for 10 minutes. Oh, 300 feet? Never mind. Whoa. I read everything but the last 2 lines of that spell, And the last two lines of that spell are the important part.
Yeah, I knock.
Can I take retcon that
Yeah.
since it's
Yeah.
day
You
2
can.
of being a
Okay.
bard? Thank you.
Do you wanna try to pick the lock?
We'll
Do you
go
have
we'll go
thieves'
old
tools?
fashioned, yeah.
Do you have thieves' tools? Is that one of your things?
I think I get it from my background.
You do. Yep. So go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Well, if you insist. Oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. It's gonna look terrible on the stream. It's that one.
18. Nice. Pretty simple lock. You've been in and out of in rooms before. It's just, and you're done. And you are now in the room. It is empty. You do not appear to see anybody that is in the room. And there's a small desk on the left-hand side. There's a bed directly in front of you that has a window right above it.
It's empty?
There's nobody in it.
Okay, but there's personal belongings.
Yes, there seems to
Desk.
be a set of clothes that is on one of the shelves on the right hand side, and probably like a spare set of clothes. And then there's a desk. There's nothing on the desk itself. The bed looks like it's been slept in. It's not freshly made or anything like that.
All right, we're just gonna do a very quick investigation. Because we don't know coming or going, so we don't want to be there too long. So investigation. Yeah, okay. I'll do that.
You go in, you run around, you're basically looking for anything. You open up the drawers on the desk.
I'm looking for anything that specifically might hint to what she's trying to offload or who she might be in contact with for offloading it. That's all we're going for.
You do see a writing pad on the desk, but it's blank. And you see like a quill and pen, or like a pen next to it. But the writing pad seems to be blank, though it looks like it's been.
Can I do the Indiana Jones thing where you rub the chalk on the paper and try and get, what was left?
Sure. Make a perception check for me.
Perception. Wait, I'll use luck.
Okay.
And find shit. I ain't got time for this.
I ain't got time for this.
Skills. Perception again. Well, fuck it. We're doing that.
What are the chances of that? Okay. So, you make out that it's been used for sure, and best you can tell, it seems to be a letter inquiring about a buyer for the goods, but there's nothing specific that you can kind of glean from the message.
Mm-hmm. All right. Then it's just a clean, make sure we didn't leave any trace, and then back out the door probably.
Okay, so you pull off the sheet of paper that had your markings on it, and make sure nothing else is out of place, and head out the door. You attempt to lock it again and head down the hallway.
And then I'll go back to the front desk. Yeah, I like that. Let's go back down there.
Okay. And the old lady was it? Hey, did you find the room okay?
Do you know what? Oh, I found the room. Thank you so much for that. But she wasn't in. But I can't leave it with anybody. I mean, it has to be her. But the second set of notes here did say that I was supposed to pick something up. Did she leave anything to be delivered at the front here at the desk by any chance?
No. She did have a message that went out with this morning's mail, but that's it. Nothing specifically for a private courier.
Oh, I wonder if they got that wrong then. All right. Well, and that mail's already gone out then, I suppose.
Yeah, that's already been picked up.
One one less payment for me, I guess. It's just been, I mean, it's been the one you've had those days before.
We
You know
all,
what I mean?
yeah, we have those days. We all have those days.
Do you know what time she normally gets back? Because I mean, if I can deliver this to her today, then at least I'll get paid for it.
I mean, she was here this morning. I guess she's usually back in her room by. Um, it depends on how long she's gambling for the night, but she's usually back here every night at some point.
You don't suppose she'd be out gambling right now?
I haven't seen her yet today. It's a little bit early in the day, so usually
Right,
she's
right,
around
yeah.
around evening time is when she'll come back in.
Right. Well, I mean, the best thing. I mean, if I start drinking now, I probably won't drink away all the money that I get from the delivery charge. Uh, okay, yeah. You know what? I'll go grab a drink and wait for her to show up and kind of do it that way, I suppose.
Oh,
Appreciate your
all
help
right.
again. Thank you much.
All right, I'll let her know what you were looking for.
Thanks. And
Okay.
then I'll duck out to the bar.
Okay.
I can dispel anything like at will, right? Or do I
Yeah.
have to wait?
For the most part, yeah. For the most part.
I just want to wait till I get to an opportune time for that, and then
Okay.
I just don't want I don't want to be in the middle of a drink and then everything change.
Right.
That would be
Okay.
bad.
Let's take a 10-minute break, and we'll reconvene then.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Let me turn the stream back on and show everybody our beautiful faces. Hi, folks. Thanks for staying with us. Appreciate you. Y'all are fabulous.
This episode is brought to you by my beverage that I made up.
Your what?
My beverage, I don't know, it's just vodka and ginger ale and cranberry juice.
Oh.
Cranberry juice because
Sounds
it's
like
Christmassy. It's festive.
I was telling Jesse about the beverage that I'm pretty sure was made up. And it sounds terrible, and it's amazing, and it doesn't give you hangovers. So it's pretty much, like, awesome.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to, because I'm already at the rendezvous spot, I don't really have anywhere else to go. I'm going to just stay over in the corner in the bar area and kind of observe and wait for everyone else to show up, I guess.
Oh, they were meeting you up there at the bar?
Yeah.
At the end? Okay.
Because that's why I said, like, before they left, I would have said, like, let's rendezvous at the bar closest to here, in 3 or 4 hours or whatever, at a determined time. So I'm going to be there waiting for them to show up.
Okay.
And, if I see anything interesting, great. But that's where I am.
Okay, 1 second. Let's figure out what's going on. Jet, you're headed back to the bar after kind of doing your rounds and gaining some information.
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm going to. Okay, so Theron said that he had something else planned involving falling into the harbor. So I'm going to put that on hold. After a few hours go by, Jet walks through the inn, and you see Robin sitting at the bar. After a while, he now fully looks like Robin and not his alter ego.
Batman?
The Boy Wonder.
Boy Wonder.
Boy Wonder.
Blue Jay.
His alter ego, Blue Jay.
Cardinal. I'll go up to the bar and I'll sit like a stool down from him.
Okay.
Oh, we're being that kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm incognito.
She's still in disguise.
Are you still in your poofy clothes?
You are. Make a. I mean, you don't even know that it's her.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
She's disguised.
All right.
I mean, you can make.
I'll make a perception check.
You can make a perception check. Let's see if you know it's her.
Because she sure doesn't stand out in the sailor's bar.
She stands out in the sailor's bar for sure. As far as, hang on 1 second, let me check something here. Yeah, his stats are so good. So you actually don't know it's her. She stands out. Not the typical patron of this place, of this facility. However, you do not recognize her as Jet.
I'm gonna ask for.
Because you weren't there when the
right. No. That's fine. I just don't. I'm trying to think of like what I would do.
I'm gonna ask for a room.
Okay. He says you can talk to the innkeeper about a room over there. The bartender says that and points to the elderly lady sitting in the corner.
All right, I'll go get a room.
Okay. 2 silver pieces for the night.
Okay. And then I'll go back to who I know because do I know that he doesn't know who I am?
Make an insight check.
Oh, God.
We're getting deep into the.
I think I know that
you fully like catch eyes with him and instantly recognize that he doesn't know who you are, or he's doing an incredible job.
Like I just I glance over and see I just see you, but I don't it's like oh whatever fucking the hell is this crazy bitch.
And I'll whisper to him in thieves camp or the Ebonclad.
Okay.
Follow me. And I'm just gonna go to my room.
So she mutters off some stuff that you recognize as thieves' can't. Still don't know it's her, but you know she's a member of the guild,
Right.
and
All right.
she
I'm good. I'm good with it. Yeah.
basically said to
I'd follow. Yeah.
follow her. And so you guys head up to a room that she purchased.
Hmm. I mean, things could be looking up for Robin today. That's all that really
Yeah, it's
matters,
like,
I
well, if
suppose.
I look at a place, I probably look like a prostitute. We'll go with it.
Well,
So
I mean,
once he's in and once the doors close, I'm be like, "It's me, Jet, you dimwit."
right, of course, could absolutely tell that that was you. I mean, you just
Um,
kind of walked by at a stride, is all. I didn't, didn't recognize you right away, is all. But of
so,
course it's you.
so here's what I found out. I was like, "Do you think this is, do you think this is a safe place to talk?"
I mean, probably as safe as we're going to get. Wait, what room are we in? What's our room number? If we're at 28, maybe not.
hang on. There's like 40 rooms. Hang on. You're in room 26.
Didn't I just say if we were in 26 it was bad?
So you are actually Hey, I rolled it.
We're
I
next
said there were
door.
40 rooms. I can't make that up. You are directly across the hall from Alice's room.
Oh
But
yeah,
you didn't
because
see her
evens
come
and odds.
back.
Yeah,
Right,
evens
right,
and
right,
odds.
right.
So not sharing a wall,
So this
opposite side
actually
of the
might be
hallway.
the good spot to be.
This gonna be perfect. You might have
So,
accidentally done something amazing.
no,
Because you don't even know it's her room right there.
I have to remember that Jet's not as arrogant as Deja, so I gotta tone down the arrogance
God,
a little
please tell them if you could just reel that in a lot.
bit. So this is what I found out. We have a live animal, a live creature.
What?
I don't know if it's magical, but that's what she's trying to get rid of. I
What?
do have a friend in the town guard. The captain of the guard, actually, captain of the town guard.
A captain of
A
the guard.
captain,
So
not
there's
the
not
captain.
yeah.
I'm still gonna say
Yeah.
the captain of the guard. No, I'm not arrogant. Sorry, a captain of the guard, um, who is a friend of mine, and we could probably, I could probably deliver some message to get her arrested if we can set up some sort of. She's looking for someone to sell to yet. It seems like she hasn't found someone yet.
Right, yeah, that's kind
So
of what.
if you or someone else can pose as a person that is looking for a magical creature, or not a just a
Exotic.
an exotic animal, a tiger.
Exotic, yeah.
I hope it's a tiger. Um, we might be able to get the drop on her pretty easily and get her arrested. What say you?
You. Let's see what we need to make this work. We need a
We need to.
collector. We need a collector first off,
Yep.
and then a collector with a reputation. That would be the hard part. But she hasn't been here in over a year, so it could be new to her, but not new to the city. Do we know, Z? Would I know of anybody that was like a collector of exotic animals in the city?
Make a history check.
I'm a criminal.
I did not know.
Jet did not know anybody specifically or it. No,
Right there.
not anybody. Not anybody specifically that comes to mind for when you think exotic animal collector. Like you don't be like, oh, it's Jim. Like there's
But
no.
do I know that one exists?
You would assume that a port city, like a place like Quintana, there's a lot of people here, so you would assume that somebody probably, has an array of exotic animals. There's a bunch of nobility, so you know how nobility is. They're crazy
More
sometimes,
money than
so
sense, right?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So,
So,
So I don't have to. All right. So here's what we do. Right. We we don't know what kind of animal it is, but she sent out. So what I gathered
But we don't need to know.
Right.
Because they might have gotten contacted already.
She's sent out correspondence
Mm-hmm.
trying, like, actual proper letters trying to offload the animal. So the problem is correspondence back, but it would all come here, so we could intercept that easy enough.
So what if we send correspondence back saying that we're interested and intercept everything that goes to her? So we're her only option.
Right, I could pose as, like, the buyer's errand boy because honestly, someone with that much money and stupidity wouldn't be picking it up themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? I could pose as the buyer's gopher. We get them in the same room. You tip off your guard. He comes in, pinches her, and she's in lockup. And the deal goes south. They take the animal. The crew doesn't get paid. Crew gets pissed. That's step two. Hopefully, Theron's got himself on board with the crew, and then he can lead a mutiny from there on
Once they
that.
find out that she's dealing
And they're not going to get
exotic.
paid,
Yep.
right? It shouldn't take. Yeah, she wouldn't be able to trade anywhere if she was trading illegal goods. Like that would ruin her.
Mm-hmm.
I think all that works. It's just we need to find out. We need to. Do we need to go to the post office? Where does mail go through in this city?
It's mostly courier. There's not like a post office. It's mostly direct courier. So
Okay, so she sent something out this morning that would have went out with batch to a courier.
yeah, some courier service would have basically pick up anything. They'll work for the inn, and anybody who wants, like, it's a service the inn would provide. So every morning the courier would come and pick up the outgoing packages and deliver them throughout the city. So not
Is it
like a
the same
central post
courier?
office.
Is
And
it the
in
same courier?
You're not necessarily sure. This is something that most establishments like inns will have. It's I guess kind of like a post office, but it's more on a personal or a business level. The inn provides
we've
that
got.
service to their members.
So
Wait a
what's
minute. It's all right. Here we go. Because you're a military person. Like I mean, as far as everybody knows, we're up and up citizens, and
I'm not,
you have the air of military persona about
yeah.
you and how you carry yourself. So you maybe go down and talk to the old lady at the desk and just let her know that there is a proper investigation going on, and anything coming in regarding her needs to go to you for evidence.
That would be putting my face out a lot.
But as you, not as a thievy scoundrel, right?
Well, I think what she's saying is she's not a part of the guard.
Yeah, we need.
What's
Because
what's
the
stopping
problem.
us from tipping her off that there's an investigation and making her move a little bit faster and be a little more careless? Because we can then follow her. Am I wrong? If we're literally right across from her room, if we just slip a note under her door that says, "We know what you have. We're interested. We also know you're being investigated."
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely speed things up. I just. Yeah, it just has to be fast, right? That's the only thing that I worry about is that, like, we get a day into this and then she gets the correspondence back saying, I'm not interested, and then it becomes, you know, wait a minute, then who the fuck are you kind of thing. Now we could, um,
We come off as third party, not as even one of the ones
yeah, we
interested.
could just come off as, hey, you know, we could
We've
come
heard
off
what you
as
have.
we heard you were trying to offload something. I work for a very interested person. Let's set up a meet kind of thing. That might work, and that way we don't worry about whatever else she sent. But we can put but I'm only in town for 3 days before I leave, blah, 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 to put the pressure on to get her to move quick.
Yep.
That would work.
And we don't necessarily
smooths it. And then I'm the only one, and then I'm face to face with her later, but that's fine. Because she's going to get pinched anyway. I think all that works.
We just need Theron's input.
That'd be great. But you know what is odd? I haven't seen any of the crew here at all. I think they may all be stuck on the ship as right now. They may not be able to get out.
So what you're saying is she gets all the creature comforts.
Well, what I'm saying is that they may be all sequestered on board for one reason or the another, not able to get off. He could have very well joined the crew and is now stuck on board the ship, and not able to get to it. So we just probably need to go.
Do you have a way of delivering him a message?
No. We can mark. We can leave a mark. These can't is a thing. Ebonclad is a thing. We can mark the door.
So there's actually a whole set of guild marks as well.
Right. I haven't memorized them.
Right. No.
But I know there's ones for
I don't necessarily expect you to, but there's ones to let people know like where a safe house is. There's ones to let people know certain things. So.
Well, let's just assume that we can figure out a set of symbols that says, Theron, get your ass in here and come to this room, kind of deal. It would take, some work, but we could spend some time to make that happen. So that if one of us is here, or at least he knows to come to this room and wait.
And it's got to say specifically, Theron, get your ass in here.
Right? I mean, something like that.
I mean, we could. It's as simple as we could leave a message with the front desk, with the old lady, and say, hey, when my friend comes here, just would you show him up to our room, and mark the door so that he knows to come in, and say, I'm here for whatever you said your name is when you got your room, and then they'll know. Right. I mean, that's simple enough.
Okay.
Okay, great. So we'll set that up.
And meta-wise, we don't actually know what Theron's doing. He might come back in like 10 minutes, depending on if he falls into the harbor or not.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he was probably gonna fall into the harbor just to make it look like he got tossed on his way back to try and get on board the ship.
Right.
But yeah, so there's that. So, all right.
So we need to write a message out to.
Well, surely there's got to be writing supplies in here, right? So let's take a moment and make that work. But it needs to be. I don't know anything about how people write in fantasy world, but we need to have it's got to be good card stock. We don't want to look like it came from the next room over at the inn.
Right. Okay.
I don't think I have a forgery kit. Things to add to my list. Forgery kit. Pick up that.
Well, we can always go out and buy it, or buy.
Yeah. Well, we could probably have it at the safe house. I would assume we could just go over there and.
Yeah, forgery kit. You guys would be able to acquire for cheap to nothing from the guild.
Right. So we'll work on that. I mean, we're moving quick. We have 6 days. We're moving very fast.
Using the forgery kit, that's another thing. How well you are with it. How good you are with it. That's another thing.
Mean, it's good and then it's lucky. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw how that worked out for you last.
Yeah, well, it can't do that every time. Let's hope.
Yeah.
So, All right, so I'm gonna search out that to get that going. Or do you just want to come with me then, Jet, and we can go. We can work on that and then see if there's. I just wish we knew what kind of animal it was. That would be so helpful.
Did do I know that you went into her room?
Oh no. Um, but I would have. But I was trying to explain. Like I found
Yeah.
out that she was looking for somebody that it would have came out, because I was in her room and this is what I saw, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But I didn't see anything that looked fucking like it was an animal in there. That's just weird.
Anything that she wrote? Anything that
Right, no, just the thing I said about she was writing to try and find a buyer, I think, but
it'd be
which
nice to
is,
get those hands on the notes that the courier sent. That she
I mean,
sent to
that's
someone.
long gone by now. That's the problem. I mean, I would assume. I mean, we
Or
can
find who
check.
she contacted.
Yeah, I suppose we could try and ask again, going back to the old lady and seeing if, uh, and get her courier's name, and then maybe we could run him down and shake him down. Maybe don't have to shake him down. Maybe he works for the fucking guild. We don't know yet. Um,
Maybe we just need to give him a silver piece and
there's that bribery. Um, all right, so that's what I like that. Let's try that. So we need to go talk to the old lady about their courier, which is as easy since you're staying here, saying that you want to
hmm
deliver something.
yeah.
I mean, the less people that we know, like we don't want them to look like we're hunting this guy.
Yep.
Um, go to a safe house, forgery kit for the letter so that it looks like it came from somewhere besides what I'm assuming is a really cheap piece of pen and paper or ink and ink and parchment that's in this room, so that it's believable, and then have
Okay.
that couriered into her possession or slipped under the door, kind of thing. Uh, yeah, I like that.
Okay. Okay, so you guys head out, go to one of the known kind of like guild front storerooms, and acquire yourself some decent like parchment paper and a forgery kit. In attempting to write a letter that looks as legitimate as you can, that it wasn't written from a hotel or an inn room right next to her. Make a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand?
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
all about precision on the hand
Hey,
and
I will gladly make a sleight of hand check, sir.
all right then.
Because plus
Jesus,
6.
cards.
It's one of my things. It's one of
Just
my
gonna let
doubles.
him do that.
What's that?
I'm just gonna let him do his thing.
Um, you create a very professional looking and sounding letter, and you slip that underneath her door, basically outlining that you believe that she's under investigation by the guard for selling
No, no, no,
exotic.
no, no,
No,
no, no,
No?
no, no, no,
Oh,
no,
I
no,
thought
no.
you.
just no. This
Okay.
is just that we're interested.
Oh, just that you're
So
interested.
this
Okay,
is
you had said earlier that you'd.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
No, this letter
Okay.
is basically stating that we know she's trying to move a product.
Okay.
We we are interested in said product, and
We'll pay top dollar for the
yeah,
product.
we're paying for it, but
Top gold
we're on a
coin.
timetable. Like we have a 3 day. Like the man I represent is only in town for 3 days. We need if we're gonna do this, it needs to happen soon.
Okay.
Meet me. We need a meeting place. Shit, we need a meeting place. Well, we want to meet at the front. We want to meet at a guild controlled location. So we'll use one of the guild controlled bars as the initial meet point, just so that we have more control in what's, and how it all lays out.
Okay.
So that's what I don't know what all the guild controlled bars are in
That's fine.
here.
That's fine. Um, and
But
okay, so you
it
guys.
has to be semi, like it can't be a dive and it can't be too ritzy or it'll will attract too much attention. We need somewhere, in the middle.
Sure.
Busy, but not.
Yeah, busy
Yeah.
place that people could meet and it wouldn't be crazy kind of thing.
Okay.
A very specific set of criteria. Need you to pick one of the squares on the map and make it that.
Hang on. The closest thing to that is going to be the Yellow Wheel Tavern.
Okay.
Which is a notable it's a notable front for the guild. So are you telling her to meet you there at the Yellow Wheel Tavern to discuss further?
Right, yeah. This isn't gonna be like the
drop.
trade. This
Okay.
is just, meet to discuss pricing and terms and
Okay.
here kind of thing.
All right. Okay, so you guys slip that letter underneath her door, and then we're gonna cut to Theron. Theron, what hey, you spend some time on the docks kind of wandering around, and you had mentioned you are going to, at some point, fall into the harbor. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay. At some point, I'm going into the water.
Okay.
I need to make it at least reasonably chancy that somebody either knocked me into the water or threw me into the water.
Okay.
For whatever purpose. I'm also going to go walking around, maybe not necessarily talking to anybody on the other ships, but at least walking around, walking up to the ships.
Making it look like you're talking to other people.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
At least making it seem plausible that I've gone to the other slips and, no, I can go back there and say, no, nobody's really hiring.
Okay.
I will, however, talk to one of the, at least what I think is a sailor.
Okay.
On one of the other people dressed fairly like me and working on the docks, and find out, are any of the other ships actually taking on sailors right now?
So you talk with like one of the dock hands, basically, is what you're.
Pretty much.
Okay. So one of the dock hands, you kind of inquiry about maybe job openings on the ships. He responds. He says, I mean, there's usually some sort of opening. I mean, I haven't heard anything like blasted out there. There's one, the Ruby Sail over on the far end of the dock. I think they're pretty short-handed. Whether that's intentional or they just seem light on the amount of crew that I've seen coming on and off that ship. But that's the only one that kind of comes to mind. If you're looking, I'd start there.
Right, thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
And so at some point you go up to one of the guards, or not guards, one of the crews, and I don't know if you just start slinging insults at them just right off the bat and just hope that they just toss you or something, or how you're gonna do that. Is that your plan, or are you just gonna kind of jump in and be like, why'd you push me in?
I'm not really good at the whole. Actually, I don't have any actual proficiency in any of the charisma skills.
Any of the social skills, basically. All right.
Not a one.
Right. Oh, good. Okay. We'll just say for the sake of it, you are able to kind of basically con somebody into pushing you in the harbor, and you go down. It's pretty mucky. It's kind of gross. You come out. I mean, harbors are not nice places normally, so
No.
Stuff gets tossed over, and you come out feeling even grimier than you already were. Some of your facial makeup is kind of starting to run off a little bit.
I didn't put makeup on my face.
Oh, I thought you had
No,
the disguise kit.
I used the kit to kind of change my hair around,
Okay,
clip it back
sure.
and stuff and
Okay,
whatnot, but because I knew
okay.
I was going to go in the harbor at some point.
All right. So you crawl out of the harbor, and it's just you just feel gross, basically, just and and you make your way back over to the spearhead, and you're greeted by not three of them, but just two of them, one of the male elves and then the tiefling female approach you again and says, I'm sorry, man, I see you're having a pretty rough time. We can't let anybody else on this board on the ship until we take care of some business here. There's no room right now for anybody. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you out, and like I said, come back in a few days. We can probably hook you up with a job, but right now it's you don't want to be here.
Right? Guess there's nothing for it. I'll turn around and head out.
They seem pretty legitimate that
Yeah,
they're not letting anybody on that ship
I'm figuring at this
right
point
now.
that if I'm going to get on that ship, I'm going to have to do it my usual way.
Yeah. Right.
But I do have a name of a ship captain who's either low on crew or
Yep, you have the name of the ship.
running
The
something
ship
odd.
is yeah, the that is the Ruby Sail, and that is in port right now. They seem light for the ship that they're running. Like, normally you would see a 35 to 40 man crew, and they've only seen like 15 people. So something just seems off with it, whether they, are in need of sailors, but yeah, the Ruby Sail is the name of the ship.
Ruby Sail. And I have no idea where my pencil went. Awesome.
Okay. What is your plan now? Are you going to try to attempt to get on the ship other ways? It's still kind of daylight, so sneaking on wouldn't be ideal.
No, I'm not doing it right now.
Right. Okay.
For now, I'm gonna go probably to the closest well and dump a bucket of water over my head a few times and get some of the muck and grime off before I go change back into my usual stuff and get better cleaned up before the meetup.
Sure. So you kind of manage to clean up, head back to the safe house, get back into your normal attire. You head over to the Owl's Wager, and you guys would be there, Robin and Jet. I believe you guys would be there, but you would probably be in the room itself. So you walk in there and you kind of survey. You don't see them immediately, whether they are not here yet for the meetup or what else, but you don't see them immediately.
Would this be before or after we do the delivery?
This would
Like,
be after you guys did your delivery. Well, actually, you guys, I don't know. We'll say it's after.
okay, because I mean, part of our plan was to leave a sign for him to ask, right? So that he
Oh,
would
right,
know
right,
that we were up in the room.
right. Make a perception check, Theron. Okay. Looking in, you're just kind of you're just scanning the room. You do notice a small carved, like kind of etched symbol next to one of the posts, and it looks familiar, like it's a guild mark. Um, just basically stating that there's Ebonclad members here. Um, there's not anything specific like room number whatever, and you also don't necessarily. It looks fairly fresh, so you're assuming it's something that was carved within the last day. It wasn't something that's like weeks old, but just maybe you would kind of take it as, well, they're probably trying to tell me that they've been here.
At least have been here.
Yeah.
But, alright.
It's kind of sketchy because it's not like they're writing, a complete note, It's just
so
a small symbol.
They've at least been here, but they aren't necessarily here right now. So I'm just gonna go
Not
up to the bar.
necessarily.
I'm gonna go up to the bar and get. I'll actually order a pint and I'll say the local stew.
Okay. They bring you out your drink and meal eventually, and you kind of work on that.
I'll head and sit over at a table, kind of keeping the door in sight and the door up to the rooms and such in sight.
Okay. Most of the tables, being that it's a gambling hall, most of the tables are taken up by gamblers. But you find a single seater back in one of the walls that it has a good view of the door itself.
Okay.
Sitting there and eating your meal. You guys would be, I guess, coming back from. We'll just say you guys are now coming back from the safe house where you were, where you grabbed the forgery kit and the papers and stuff like that. So you wait around for a little bit, Theron, and you see them walk through the door maybe 30, 45 minutes later.
We'll
just walk up to our room.
Yeah, we just if we see him, we'll just kind of give him a nod and then just keep walking so that he knows to kind of, just follow up kind of deal.
And once I see that, I'll pay my tab, as it were, and head on back.
Okay. So you guys all meet up back in the room. Slip the note underneath the door, and that's where you guys are at right now. You do have the room for the night, and it is now approaching evening time. So that would have been probably about your supper there.
Yeah, that was kind of the point. I just spent 4 hours wandering around the docks.
Yep. Yep. So it's now like supper, evening time-ish, so.
I assume that we would have put on the letter, meet tomorrow at, 5.
Yeah.
Proper, respectable business time. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
So we'll just take this time to kind of fill Theron in on what we found out, and he can fill out. We don't need to recap all that. We were all here for the conversation.
You got it.
Oh, actually, wait, Theron, you weren't
here for the conversation.
Yeah.
So the plan is, quickly and out of character, but what you basically gather is, we found out that she's trying to sell some sort of animal. I'm going to pose as a representative of a buyer for said animal. We're going to set up a trade, and then one of Jet's friends who works for the guard is going to make the arrest of what we assume to be an illegal animal trade operation, which will put the captain behind bars and discredit her. And then we assume that the crew will be none too happy that they don't get paid, at which point you would put in your information
about the crew and about I'll add in the information about the ruby sale, because it just seemed a little odd enough that a dockhand commented on it to a stranger.
No, in all fairness, a stranger that was asking about
getting jobs, but
right.
Mm.
Nonetheless, it was odd enough to. It was
information is information.
Yeah. It was odd enough to make mention of it.
All right. So. So that's the plan. So we're really just kind of in prep until tomorrow. There's not a whole lot left to do unless we want. The only benefit that we have now that we can try and run on as it gets into the evening is to try to figure out what this animal is. which is probably on board the ship. It's not in her room, which is across the hall, because...
Speaking of which, Theron, you notice he had mentioned that her room's across the hall from you guys. You notice what sounds like a door opening and closing directly across the hall from you.
I believe that's our target, as it were.
Okay, so she's back. So she's not on the ship, which is good.
No, but the whole crew seems rather jumpy.
I mean, you think you've got a shot at getting on board
I think I
without...
could, but I'm not sure. I'm not positive what I'll be able to do on the ship, because I didn't get a chance to actually see the ship earlier today.
It'd be nice to know what she's selling.
Agreed. Well, I don't know how we get to that point. I mean, I could just try and walk on and say I was representing a buyer that I've been contacted and I was told to come out here and inspect the
I don't think that's gonna work. They stopped me before I even got to the ship.
Yeah, so that's probably not going to work. Well, I mean, I've dealt with this kind of thing before. It just makes it a bit harder not knowing, but I can get it out of her once we get to the meet. It will just take some work on my part to kind of fish out the details until I kind of know the approximate size and shape of what we're dealing with.
Well, I can make an attempt to get on the ship tonight and bring back information.
The more information Robin knows going into the meeting tomorrow, the better.
The better it's going to be, yeah.
Convincing her.
Alright, well, I guess I'll prepare for a new job tonight.
Alright,
Hey, buddy. Theron. Disguise yourself better this time.
Last time I wasn't trying to do something elaborate, but... let's see what I can work with. Alright, so...
Okay, so Theron is kind of preparing for the kind of stealth mission tonight to try to see, at least get an idea of what she's trying to sell specifically.
Which means...
And Robin and Jet, what are you guys planning on doing?
Well, because I'm going to be the face tomorrow, I can't very well go down. I could. We get muddled, though. She's going to be gambling here tonight. We might be able to get information out of her ahead of time. I could pose as that same person, just on my way down. Don't like it, though. It's better if I'm a new face when she sees me later. So, I will...
Hang out there for the night?
Yeah, I mean, I will do a downtime activity.
Sure. That's fine.
I'm fairly smart. I'm probably good at something like chess.
Okay.
Yeah, Jet, if you want to try and maybe tease some information out of her tonight, that would also be great. I mean, again, any information the two of you can get to me would be golden.
Cool.
But the first time she sees me, it needs to be as the representative of the buyer, right? She can't see me here and then there tomorrow. What downtime activity can I do?
not going to be a whole lot to do. Like downtime is usually like
Can I work on that?
Multiple days.
Can I work on the thing
Yes,
for
you
that
can.
thing?
I'll let you work on that.
Awesome.
I'll let you work on that.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Do we have
Yeah.
about 4 hours?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, if you're
supper,
planning
so
on running like around midnight, yeah, you'd have 4 hours. It's probably 5, or it's probably like 6 o'clock ish. So.
Then I'm gonna go ahead and get myself ready and everything, and I'm gonna go ahead and trance.
Okay.
So that I'm effectively fully
You're
rested.
a monk.
I'm an elf. I'm an elf.
You're elf. That's what I meant.
Oh wait, wrong trance. Sorry, my bad.
Not that trance. Hang on just 1 second, guys. I'll be.
No, the DM's dead. Don't get caught on board a ship as a thief. There are some really bad maritime rules that apply.
Yeah, no, my plan is to get onto the ship and go up the rigging. Because most cargo ships have a cargo hatch, that grated cargo hatch and whatnot, so that they can lower things down into the cargo holds with cranes. I figure if it's a big enough animal that they're keeping it on the ship instead of offloading it at all, I should be able to see it from above.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if it's. I don't necessarily know. Forgot to move Tom. Oh shit, we have a red emote. Hang on, wait. I have to go move an elf. Talk amongst yourselves.
Move an elf? Oh. Elf on a shelf? I'm assuming that's what he meant. Elf on a shelf. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Nikki, are you there? Hello. Are you muted? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna learn. What's it called again? What's the game called?
Zaysir?
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 Zaysir.
Zaysir? I'm trying to find out where this is at. It's under demographics and culture, I think. So how is this? Yeah, here it is. How is this described? It's a game played between 2 people using a game board and 7 game tokens per side. The board depicts a series of spaces game tokens move upon, 2 of which represent each player's ship. The goal of the game is to sink your opponent's ship, done by moving one of your tokens onto that space. Each token moves differently on the board, and a bit of strategy is employed from game to game. It is so popular, it's often used to make wagers or settle disputes outside of recreational play.
So I would know how to play.
You would know how to play, yeah. It's a very common game in the city. And it's mostly a game of intelligence and strategy, so it's going to be intelligence-based checks for how well you do. Sweet. If you yourself are trying to play.
Yep. I'll play.
Okay. All right. So you head down, and you do see your target. She's over the last few days become very kind of popular since she's been gambling larger than normal amounts of money, which she's been doing well. She's been winning the majority of the time. But it's somewhat a game of luck. Somewhat, it's a lot of strategies, a little bit of luck. So her luck might run out. So people are very, very kind of intrigued. So when she sits down, she usually gathers a bit of a crowd around her. She's currently playing a elderly gentleman, and from what you can gather, she appears to be winning currently.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna join the crowd and maybe ask around to see who's got next game with her.
Okay.
Or
All
how
right.
that's determined.
So usually it's not like next. You usually set up like games with somebody specifically. In most situations, if there's an open seat and nobody's taking it, you just sit down. You can play if that's
Okay.
the way the other person's doing it. But
Okay.
the game goes on, and there's a decent amount of money on the table as far as the wager goes.
What's a
It
decent
seemed
amount of money?
like on a single game, like 20 gold is a pretty good bet. Like 20 gold per person, so 40. It would be a 40 gold pot. Um, the and that's pretty good for one game, which is only going to last usually 5-10 minutes maybe.
Okay.
So you do find it odd that she seems to have money to gamble away, yet her crew is very concerned with getting paid. So that's something that with the information that you guys have that Theron gathered from the crew, and it seems a little weird that she's gambling away money when the crew clearly hasn't been paid in a little while.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So the game goes on. She does end up winning, and from what you can tell from the cheers and the crowd, that's like her fourth or fifth win in a row, over the last couple nights, and she's been raking in a decent amount of money from it.
I would like to buy her a drink.
Okay, you buy her a drink. It as far as specifically buying her a drink, it kind of gets lost. It's a pretty decent crowd, so she just kind of like sees a drink and she's like, oh great, and she grabs it. Doesn't really like acknowledge you specifically. She's just seeing a fan give her a drink, and she's kind of living up the popularity, and she seems to like. She seems to kind of like the attention and the gravity that she's building up in her name.
I want to buy something stronger.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask the bartender if he's got anything that's more potent, more, like enjoyable, but it's got that oomph.
There you go again. So yeah, he gets you just a shot. Or
anything specifically that he knows that she likes.
I mean, okay.
Shot wise.
Sure. So the drink you gave, are you saying the drink that you first gave her? You're talking about, or is this another drink?
Second drink.
Second drink. Gotcha. Okay. So he says, yeah, sometimes she drinks this, and it's kind of like a. It's kind of like a sipping, like a brandy almost. It's kind of, I don't know. But it's just like a liquor that people would sip and drink just straight, or like a nice bourbon or something like that. So, just he serves it just plain, no mix or anything like that, and hands it to you.
Sweet. I'll take that, and I want to take the seat when the seat's empty in front of her.
Okay. The old man gets up and he's kind of disappointed. He's muttering and he gets out of his seat, and you try to slip right into the seat after him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You get there and you kind of have to push somebody else out of the way to get the seat. It's a very like first come first serve type thing, and you get the seat next to her. She says, "Excuse me, who are you?"
I'll give her the drink and tell her that My name is Sasha, and I've been watching her play, and I want to play her and try to learn from the best.
Sasha.
Yep.
Well, playing and learning usually comes at a price, and unless you're willing to pony up the coin, I don't see us having much of a future here.
What kind of coin?
And she pulls out a stack and she just puts 20 gold back on the table.
I'll take out 20 gold then.
Okay. You place 20 gold on the table.
You're about to pay a lot to
Now,
learn how to play this game.
you guys got a decent payday from the last.
Yeah, I've got like 140 gold.
You guys got a decent payday, for your first mission. So, but anyway, you put it on there, and you guys commence to play the game. I would like you to roll me a intelligence check. Are you proficient in? You are proficient in one type of gaming set.
That's probably the one I would be.
I would assume
not
so.
trying to be.
No, I would assume as well.
Yeah, with as popular as it is, yeah.
It's the go-to game, so I guess unless you specify differently, I would say this is the way to do it.
Okay.
So it will be intelligence with proficiency.
How do I add proficiency when I?
Let me just give you a skill. Let me give you a skill here.
Yeah, I've already got skills set up for all of the kits and tools and whatnot that I'm proficient with now.
Ooh, hang on.
I learned that one from the freaking artificer that I was playing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because when you've got like 9 different tool proficiencies.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So if you look at the very bottom of your skills list, I put in a Zacer set.
Sweet.
So go ahead and roll a check for me for that.
Oh.
Jesus.
You wipe the floor with this woman.
You readily hand her first loss in 2 days, and you didn't break a sweat. It was like you were toying with her half the time, and you gain yourself 20 gold from that. You get done after sinking her captainship, and she just kind of looks at the board, and you can tell that she's trying to ponder what just happened. Like where did I go wrong? And she can't even figure out where she went wrong that she could have combated what you just did.
I tell you what. We could play again, and we can do a minimal bet this time because I'm not trying to be mean, but obviously I have a strategy that you've never seen before. So if you would like to, you can watch my strategy. And
she looks visibly upset. She's like, don't patronize me like this is my first time playing.
I'm not. I'm just.
And she puts on 25 gold. She puts up 25 gold forward.
All right.
And she says, we'll see how your strategy holds up.
I'll put up 25 more and try to give her. And I want to ask someone to get me some more of that brandy shit for her.
Okay.
I'm trying to get her drunk.
Okay. You notice she hasn't actually drank any of your drink yet. She's let it basically sit. She's sipped on a few like ales, but she's nursing her drinks. She's
Gotcha.
not overdoing on the drinking.
I tell you what. I always like meeting new people, and I gotta say, I appreciate a strong woman who is good at this game because I think the men underestimate us. So I thank you for, being that other person with me.
Well, do you play often? I mean, clearly, but I haven't seen you around here in the last couple of days.
I've specifically played in other areas before. This is my first time in this bar. I was told that that you've been here a couple nights and that you are one of the best, and I kind of wanted to play you. That's why I came here.
I see. Well, let's see if you can put your money where your mouth is. If you're, I mean, that you could have just gotten lucky.
I'm sure that's what it was.
I
It's
think
like
that's
I
what
rolled
it
the dice or something and it was high.
was. Okay, make another Zacer check.
Ooh, not as good.
Not as good. Let's see what she does here. This is a much bigger struggle, but she does seem to best you after this one. And she's able to... Did that not show up on the screen?
It did not.
Oh. Anyway, she got a 15 on her check. So, and so it is a good battle, but she did come out on top, and she kind of gives you this smug look, like, yeah, beginner's luck.
I mean, I was honest with you.
All right.
What's your name? I told you mine.
Name's Alice.
Alice, nice to meet you.
Yeah. It's always good to meet another player, but yeah.
You want to play one more time?
Sure. I'm always up for a game.
I mean, I've never seen you here before. From what I've heard, you've been here the last couple of days. What are you doing in town?
Just not new in town. Just recently back to town. I was doing some trading over across the sea, and just decided to come back here for a little bit.
Very nice.
Got some goods from a few different foreign ports that we're trying to offload here, and we'll head back out.
Very cool. When are you heading out?
Like 5-6 days, something like that, hopefully.
Very cool. What kind of good do you dabble in? I'm not trying to be nosy.
Just
subtle.
Sure. Yeah, just chit chat, general chit chat. Yeah. And she's the normal foods, spices, gems.
Crazy exotic animals, perhaps.
I spent a few years working for a wealthy family, and in my experience, sometimes what comes in isn't, is a little questionable.
Oh no, we run a straight business.
Good for you.
It's not worth trying to avoid any sort of laws, or it's not worth it. You can make good money trading, legal, normal stuff, and that's what we try to do at the Spearhead.
I'm gonna do an inside check on that.
Yeah, go ahead. She seems genuine. I mean, she actually seems like she believes that. There's definitely a tinge that she's like refraining. You can tell she's like trying to not say the whole truth, but she seems genuine in her conviction that what she's doing is legal.
So what are you doing while you're in town? I mean, this obviously fills up your night. What do you do during the day?
Just trying to offload the wares and the goods that we have.
I mean, I have a lot of connections. Like what kind of goods and stuff?
Just trying to work with the Gilded Ring mostly to find a decent agreement on the silks and some of the materials that I have.
Very cool. All right. You want to play one more game?
Sure. Let's do this. And she
double or nothing.
She puts forward 30 gold this time. She's kind of upping her wager as she goes.
All right, I'll put 30 gold up.
Re-raise. Oh, boom.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Ooh.
Jeez. All right.
Shit just got real.
So she again seems to get her ass handed. It's very, very up and down. it's almost like you're playing two different people. The one time she's really good, and the other time you're like, oh, this is too easy, and you easily defeat her this third time, and so you were plus 20, minus 25, plus 30, so you're at what?
Up 25.
Yeah, you're up 25.
I'm sensing that I'm not going to get any more information out of her because she's not
Right.
drinking. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it at that before she starts getting suspicious, and I'm going to walk back up to my room.
Okay. And she seemed, as you walked away, she seemed a little bit like got the wind taken out of her sails. Like she's like, God, I was on such a roll, and then almost like she's a little bit depressed.
That's all right.
And then make a perception check actually for me. That's pretty good. You do notice that her coin purse is fairly light for somebody that's apparently been winning. It seems like she's kind of getting down there as far as the size of the coin purse you would have expected from somebody who's been gambling a lot. Like when she went to take out the coins, there wasn't as much there as you would have expected.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Fast forward, Theron. You are headed to the docks. It is now well under the cover of night, and you kind of saunter up to the pier. There's a few deckhands just kind of they're on watch, but you can tell they're kind of half-assing it. They're not very attentive. They're just kind of chilling. They're there because they have to be type thing. And you walk past them. They don't really pay you any note. Getting up to the pier, the ship looks pretty dead at this point. There's not a lot of movement. Make a perception check for me, just kind of from a distance, checking out if you notice anything out of place. You do see one crew member up in the crow's nest, just kind of chilling there. Looks like he's awake. He seems to be moving, like he's not sleeping up there or anything like that. And then you notice oddly enough, most of the crew appears to be sleeping on the main deck and not below decks.
Okay. Well, there's somebody on watch. Is it foggy or anything?
No, it's very dark though. Most of the lights on the dock have been either dimmed really low or put out altogether, so there's not a lot of light. It's a fairly clear night, so there's a few the moon is there, so you got a little bit of moonlight, but not a whole lot.
Okay. Then that means I can probably make do. Let's see, how long do I have with that? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and use this.
Okay, so you add 10 to any stealth checks?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And Theron disappears.
And Theron is gone.
Alright, so plus 10. Alright, how am I
so go
I'm
ahead
trying to
and we'll
figure
just
out how to
start
do
out with your
this.
base stealth check. Just roll your stealth check and then we'll add 10.
There's an
Easy
adjustment that I can do here.
I want to do it with the dice.
Stealth. I'm gone. I added the +10 modifier.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. 32. Nice. Okay, so you have a 32 stealth. You're able to, even though there's not a whole lot, you're able to find the shadows and easily get up to the walkway onto the ship. From what you can tell, probably not being seen by the guard or the lookout. Most of the ship is sleeping. They're all sleeping on cots on the main deck. They're all bundled up. It's not warm. It's not a warm night, but they're all kind of bundled up with blankets on the main deck. You do see it's a pretty standard ship layout. You see the stairs kind of like hatched leading down to the lower decks, and it is locked up. Like there's an actual physical lock on it.
Before I go
Yep.
and pick the lock, do they have that sort of grate cover over the cargo loading hatch?
Yes, they do.
So I'm gonna go over to that and look down in there and see if I can actually see whatever creature is down there and keeping all of these people on the deck.
Okay. So there's where you would normally see the grate. It's not actually grated. There's kind of like they've laid boards over it to prevent visible, like you can't visibly see in there without removing the boards. But it's not something that's normally there. You can tell.
Okay. And then I guess I'm just gonna head over and try to bust open this lock.
Okay. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check or a thieves tools check.
Yeah, I've got thieves tools on here.
It's like the same thing.
A sleight of hand check would be trying to pick a lock without sneaking, but trying to do it without anybody noticing that you're picking the lock.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, thieves tools check. All right.
Not bad.
Easy enough. You're able to. It's not a complex lock at all. So, let's see here. Okay, so you pick the lock easily enough, and you open kind of like it's a hatch, and it opens up pretty easily, and then you kind of slip in and you're on a stairwell. The stairwell kind of L's off to the left into the main part of the hold.
Okay.
Where are you going here? Are you just gonna go in and check it out, or how are you proceeding?
I'm just going to look around and see what I see.
Okay.
But I will very carefully set something, like one of my darts or something in the hatchway so that it doesn't collapse down and close completely.
Sure. Okay, no problem. So you do that and kind of prop it open just a sliver to make sure that the hatch doesn't close completely on you. Making your way down the steps, you hear a few creaks, but you're able to kind of mask that with just the normal tossing and turning of the ship in the harbor. And you peer down into there. It's very dark, especially with the grate, which would be the normal source of light, covered up by boards. You have dark vision. Interesting, huh? You look off and you notice to the far side of the ship's hold. Off to the left, you notice a large stone statue of a man, and you see a bunch of broken up boxes next to one of the mast anchors that's in the ship's hold there. in the kind of rubble of the broken up boxes, you do see a creature there. And let's see, what would that be to know if you know what this creature is?
It would be
nature
it would
check or
depend on
arcana
it would
check?
depend on the creature. Yeah.
I guess I would say nature. It's going to be nature check then.
Yeah, if it's a natural creature, it's a nature check. If it's some kind of monstrous creature, it's usually arcana or.
Make a nature check. Let's see what this comes up as. Oh. So you see it, and it's sitting there, and while it is sleeping right now. It is in a sleeping, unconscious state, from what you can tell. Appears to be what you've heard of, have never seen in person, but have heard of, is a basilisk.
That's not a stone statue of a man. That was, in fact, a man.
In fact, a man at some point. Okay.
I've seen Harry Potter. We just gotta.
Is this thing
not Harry Potter basilisk?
Is this thing
so much worse.
actually chained down or anything, or are they just keeping the hold locked to keep it in here?
There appears to be a chain on it. Whether that's anchored to anything, you can't really see that it's anchored to anything at this point.
Now's the time to do it.
To do what? Oh, I don't know what is in your brain, and I'm not there.
I don't know either.
I've got that running. No, I can do this again later. I can come back later to take care of that.
Take care of what?
I don't know.
All right. Well, now I know what's in there.
And
is there any?
So, just for reference, this is a basilisk in D&D.
Oh, you're muted, Nikki.
Oh.
Whatever. It was just me basically yelling at Josiah for 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Well, all right.
Okay, so I see that. I've decided I'm gonna leave the way that I came in, and
fucking carefully.
Go back out. Take my dart with me. Lock the hatchway back in.
All right.
Can I see the entryway to the captain's cabin from here?
You can. It's going to be opposite side of the ship than where you're at. All
right.
And but you do see the entrance to the captain's. What you would expect to be the captain's chamber on the ship.
I will cautiously and carefully make my way over there.
Okay. All right. You were able to, with all the sleeping people, make it over there just fine. It is unlocked at this point.
Is there any light coming from under the door? Nobody in there? Or at least not that I can tell?
There's no light. There's no light. For sure.
Well, if it's not locked, I'm going to try to quietly open the door.
Okay.
Get a peek in there.
So you open the door and you take a peek in. There's nobody in the room itself. It's fairly small, even for a captain's chambers. And it mainly consists of a cot and not a whole lot else. A few instruments and a few nautical maps. There's a desk with some papers on it. That's on one of the walls.
I'll check move into the room quietly, check the desk, look for papers that might be pertinent to any of the stuff that we're doing.
Okay. You get what you can gather is the ship's manifest, inventory manifest, and everything on there seems like it's legitimate items, and there's no sign of a basilisk. One basilisk.
Picked up basilisk in Tanzania. No, didn't happen.
Right. No, that's not in the ship's official manifest. Um, uh, as far as looking, go ahead and make an investigation check for looking through all the other random papers that are.
Oh, let's see if I can do this. That's not bad.
So, you do find a few, like you find her journal, and there's a few entries in there, but she doesn't seem to be like a huge journaler. It's
not,
like
not exactly a blogger.
You can tell like she probably tells herself like I'm going to use my journal more this year, and then like writes 2 entries. And but there's one on there that she does mention. There's one journal entry, most likely the day after she acquired these. It appears that she acquired them in egg form.
Them?
Thank you so much.
She did.
Does it say how many?
She did not specify it, but it was used as a plural.
And I only saw one.
You saw one.
How long has she had? Like, how many port stops does it say? Like, from the other info that I found, can I tell how many port stops she's made since acquiring them?
Not specifically. From what you can tell, she acquired them and came back here.
Uh-huh. Right. I'm not the brains of this outfit. I'm just gonna put everything back where it came from.
Okay.
Well, we can incriminate with one basilisk and sell the others.
I mean, no.
No. Anyway, I'm wondering right now whether she's already sold some of them off, or whether they've killed each other off, or if they're just chained up in different parts of the ship. Anyway,
it doesn't really matter.
Nah, not at the moment. I'm putting everything back together, getting out of there, closing the door, but not locking it. All of that.
Okay. You are able to successfully kind of close up shop and get off the boat. To your knowledge, completely undetected with your 32 stealth.
Well, I mean, I rolled pretty high.
Oh, I know.
And I get a +10.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And it's kind of your thing.
Actually, when I cast that spell, it technically affects the entire party.
If they're within a certain
radius
distance, and there's a radius for like your cast.
Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has a +10 bonus to stealth. Can't be tracked by magic means. A creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces of passage.
Yeah. So they have to be within
30 feet
when you cast the spell. After you cast the spell, they can move outside of that 30-foot radius. Then still gain the benefit, but the initial.
How long does it last?
A concentration up to an hour. 1 hour.
Oh, I thought it was 8 hours.
But yeah, +10 bonus to stealth checks, and we cannot be tracked except by magical means. Meaning, if anybody does manage to spot us and try to chase us down, all we have to do is pretty much
survival checks aren't gonna do it.
Right.
No. like turn a corner and we're good.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
So yay. That was my.
All right. It's pretty late at night at this point. You head back to the room.
Back to the room.
I don't know. Would you guys be waiting for him, or would you guys be sleeping? Depends on.
I'm probably finishing up whatever that, and then I'm just gonna go to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So head back. Everybody's sleeping, and kind of going from there. You guys wake up in the morning. We'll just pick up there after your long rest. So you get your spells back, Robin, that you've used.
And yeah, I didn't need to sleep. That's why I did my
Right.
trance beforehand. It's just
Right.
kind of okay. I'll be well rested when I go to do this.
Sure. And Jet, you as well would get. I don't think you cast any spells, but
I did it.
if you had, if you had. All right. Morning comes and you guys wake up and
Right. So you're not gonna believe what this crazy bitch has on her boat.
Remember, speak quietly.
Right. You're not gonna believe what this crazy bitch has on her boat. There's a fucking basilisk on there.
Oh, well, that makes things
Wait.
more
And
difficult.
and her journal says that she had more than one.
Had or
How many did you
has?
see?
I don't know. She got multiple eggs, and I only saw one basilisk because I didn't really. But I thought of an interesting plan to discredit her and get all of her crew off the ship. In that, release the basilisk and leave, and then use one of my little tricks to make a real loud noise down there. Again, and then leave. Very far away.
Well, okay. Well,
Could we leave a note in her journal that would make her crew mad? Like if they got their hands on her journal? Like,
No, she didn't. She didn't really write in her journal. I just
I
used the
know, but
journal
could
to.
you,
does
or could we put, like, forge a note in the journal that says,
I
like,
don't think any of them actually go in there.
we
I know,
need?
but
No.
somewhere.
The primary point is the basilisk. Basilisk is what she's trying to sell.
Right, and how how big is it?
Is it full grown?
um, no, it seems actually like it is. It is a very, I guess, newly hatched basilisk. From what you know of basilisks, they're usually pretty large creatures, and this was not much bigger than like a dog, like a house dog.
But
Well, a large dog, but yeah,
But
like a
in
Saint Bernard.
at house dog size,
Saint Bernard size.
they can still
They,
do the thing, right?
Yeah.
to your knowledge, they can still do the thing.
There was a statue in the hold with the basilisk, so I'm gonna guess.
Why would you put a statue?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Poor,
guess that yes, it is dangerous.
poor guy.
So do we go with the original plan and set up the drop?
Do we have a
Or,
way to turn people into stone?
Well, I can go get the basilisk, and then
No,
yes.
no. Without using the basilisk, do we have a way to turn people to stone? We need, what would that be? That would be a poison or.
There's a spell called Flesh to Stone, isn't there?
It's a fairly high level spell.
Right,
I
yeah,
thought
pretty
it
sure,
was.
pretty high level.
I
Is it
do not have it.
in a way?
Boy, I hope not.
It's
Cause,
a 6th level
Basilisk.
spell.
Cause what I was thinking, right, is that if we had a way, like, if the drop went south, and not only was she trying. Cause wait, to be clear, selling a basilisk is illegal, right? Like, it just.
I mean, it wouldn't clear customs for the city.
Right. Um, like we try and do the drop on the inside guy, but like it went south, and not only was she trying to do that, but got several of her crew killed in the process because they were turned to stone.
Right.
Eh?
Yeah, because the our Our people, I'll say Thieves Guild in the Ebonclad, um, they don't care if anyone else dies, they just don't want her
Right,
to
she
die.
can't die, but the rest of them can. So if we had a way to selectively turn a few of, because she's obviously not going to be able to bring this
Wait,
by
wait, wait.
herself.
I have a pertinent question to the
Mm.
current line of discussion. If something goes south and she gets turned to stone, is that technically her being dead?
There's ways to reverse it. I mean, you can.
So, what if I leak the information to my contact that they have a basilisk while Theron simultaneously releases the basilisk? They're already on their way and can handle the situation. And she.
I was right there. Yeah, I'm not against that. I was also trying to find a way to steal the basilisk, and I think I've worked it out. um, so your friend of the god, I'm assuming, not a basilisk specialist.
Not to my knowledge.
I mean, one would think those were hard to come by. So, and everyone knows what basilisks do. If we go through the plan like it is, right? But it goes south. A couple of those guys get turned to stone and broken into bits, so they're dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then have him come in, arrest her. I, as the basilisk specialist, will take me and my assistant, Theron, to properly transport this to the proper authorities, and we will make it disappear to the guild for research, because I'm pretty sure you can like harvest what these things do and weaponize it.
That's putting us at risk for a lot.
It's a lot of money though.
You're right, but we might also just get a lot of money for
It's a lot of money though.
I
completing
think
the
that's a lot more
mission.
money than just finishing this will get us.
Oh
If
yeah.
we bring in bonuses, that tends to be a little better.
I mean, on my list of things it was steal the ship, find the thing, steal the thing, she has to live. Like it checks all the boxes.
I mean, I'm down for whatever. Let's do it.
I mean, it is the more difficult option, right? I mean,
So
we
do
could
I
just.
tell the captain that I know that I know a basilisk specialist?
You can tell him that.
You wouldn't have to necessarily. You could just tell him
Oh, wait.
that you stumbled
You're
onto it.
you you are you're a wizard. I, I think it's rather reasonable that she would know somebody who knows a lot
A
about
basilisk.
basilisks
Yeah.
or really any other monstrous, horrible creature that you could think of. She'd probably know somebody who knows something about it.
You can say, look, you stumbled onto this deal that's going down. You
Mm-hmm.
managed to flip the specialist into not completing the trade to his buyer, but to turn it over to the proper authorities. You don't know who the final buyer is because he's all hush hush about it. But in the interest of public safety, he's willing to hand it over to the guard instead of completing the transaction.
All right.
That gets, because the guard won't have one, will already be in place, so that'll be
Except when
good.
the deal goes south, he knows who I am.
But you won't know the deal's going south. And he won't want the basilisk. Like, nobody wants that thing in the city. Especially when it goes south and people die. It'll be, I'll take this and properly dispose of it. It is obviously a danger.
All
And
right.
it
Okay.
will go away.
I, no risk, no reward, right?
Right. I mean,
So,
worst case, they say, no, we absolutely have to take the thing, and then they do.
okay,
Best case is they're so scared shitless that they let us take it.
all right. Take it and dispose of it.
Right, right,
Honestly,
Not
to
even turn it
dispose
over.
of it.
honestly, I think the worst case would be that they just kill it. I mean, it's not that big.
Right, but after it kills a couple of people that are in, this is all we. This kind of hinges on we have to find a way to turn people into stone. We probably ought to give Reese a shout and see if he's got anything.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like that's
Also,
that's a good
maybe not
idea.
the worst idea to run this whole plan past him to see what he thinks. He's a bit more.
Also sounds like
I
a
have been
good
known to
idea.
bite off a little extra sometimes, but it does seem like it will be fun. Anyway,
I think I could have just as much fun going back over to that ship, unlocking the basilisk,
and
putting
letting.
and just letting it go right up on the deck of the ship where all the sailors are.
Yeah, I don't want it to get off the ship because we aren't on the ship. And if it's on the ship and I'm not on the ship, and those two things stay, that's the best case. Um, all right, so let's. So in my day's preparation, I'm going to set up. I want to set up a meeting with Reese, and I want to make sure that I'm obviously in place where I need to be for the meet for the initial meet
Yep.
uh, in time. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. So you head over to one of the where you guys last saw Reese at the one of the taverns, and it's where he's kind of known to hang out for the most part. It's one of the guild fronts, and he's sitting there having a drink, and he sees you walk in. He's hey Robin, how's it going?
I mean, it goes. I've everything is is going well. I might have. We're at a front, right? So we can speak openly where we are.
Now a lot of this stuff is still public business, so there's regular patrons and citizens that are not part of the guild in there. Um,
Mm,
but there's usually like a back room you could if you need to discuss something private.
mm. Um, I ran across a bit of business that you might be interested in if you'd want to maybe take a step and then we can have a discussion in more private setting. I wouldn't want.
Sure. Yeah,
To,
let's go back here, and you go into like a back meeting room, and we should be good here.
uh,
What's up?
so you're not gonna believe what this bitch has on her ship.
Oh, you guys found out.
Yeah. Wait, did you already know?
What do you think it is?
No, it is a basilisk.
A basilisk. Interesting. Interesting. Um,
Yeah.
I can't say I knew that actually,
Um.
but
At
that's good to
least
know.
at least one.
A live basilisk.
At least one younger one.
Okay.
Um. Look, I had on my list of things to do here. Frame her, make her look bad, find the thing, steal the thing. Are we? It's a basilisk. Are we still in the steal the
We
thing
don't.
bit?
I don't actually care about the cargo. That's
Okay.
not important.
Well, it
We
was
just
yeah.
need her not a credible traitor. Her crew turning against her would be a good thing. That's
Okay.
that's one of the objectives, and then the most important part is making sure that she's no longer the owner of that ship when it sails away in 6 days.
And she has to be alive.
Yes, that's correct.
It was and
Have you
one
have you found have you found somebody to dispose of ownership with?
not
Somebody
yet.
to take over ownership of the.
The crew's been a little. Well, none of them are happy, so it won't take much of a push.
Okay.
But um, they're also, because the basilisk is on the ship, they are very tightly kept right now. So
Okay.
we don't have a name of someone that she would deed it to. But I mean, if she gets arrested for trading this, it would ruin her as a trader. I don't see her being able to continue that trade. Someone would surely take up and take commission of the ship.
Well, it's still her ship. She still has the deed to it, regardless of if she's arrested.
We need to get forfeiture of property. It was just gonna have to. All right.
I mean, unless she has a debt that can't be repaid,
Right,
the
but
ship would
that's
be sold as collateral for that debt.
Are we all there for the meeting, or is
You
this
could
just
be.
your meeting?
I mean, I wouldn't have excluded you. I just was
Yeah,
telling them what I wanted to do.
We'll just say you guys are all there for the meeting.
Yeah, if you want to be here,
Friends.
you're here.
Well, I do know that she gambles a lot of money, and she doesn't have a lot of money.
It also didn't look like there was anything else in that hold other than the basilisk.
Okay.
There's another ship in the harbor that's low crew. I don't know anything about it.
What ship?
The Ruby Sails.
Oh, don't worry about the Ruby Sail.
Yeah. All right.
That's another thing that's going on.
I was just thinking that the captain there seems, according to the dock hands out there, seems to have low crew numbers, maybe on purpose, or maybe having trouble keeping crew. And
we have somebody working that avenue. Yeah, just stay away from the Ruby Sail.
But if she owes, I mean, she owes money. I wonder if she has proper debt.
I can play her for her ship.
That would be one hell of a game. I mean, you were playing the other night for what, like 20, 25 gold, and now we're talking about. I mean, how much do you think that ship's worth, really?
And also, you just want to keep in mind, we don't want the guild ending up with that ship, because that's not.
What are we gonna do with that ship?
Exactly. We don't want anything. We don't want anything coming back to us.
I'm not fully.
So
she owes money to someone.
I mean, just an idea. Well, maybe she does.
She won a lot of money. Granted,
sure.
she lost a lot of money to me, but she won a lot of money prior to playing me.
Okay.
Did not have a lot of money.
I mean, just some ideas for you. Get somebody else to play her for the ship. Just be the hand that's guiding the piece instead of actually being the piece.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. I'm not against
Something like that. I mean, if she's in over her head with debt, I mean, that would definitely discredit her if it's found out that she doesn't have a way to settle her debts.
Because that might be the only reason why she's selling a basilisk or basilisks.
Right.
Well, I mean, in the same process, like, if we interrupt that sale and she can't sell it, then she has no money to pay whoever she owes. That would then make the ship forfeit. We just need to know who she owes the money to.
Right.
So that we can make that move happen. Like, so we can put that bug in their ear when, hey, did you hear? Like, she got locked up. She's not trading with anybody. They can come forward and say, this woman owes us money, and we're going to take the ship as collateral. We have this document saying that if she doesn't pay us, we can take the ship, and we can forge that document.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
I think we could get probably somebody up in the.
Do you know, Reese? Do you know who?
Ring.
Do you know who she owes money to, or do you know who might know who she owes money to?
It's nobody guild related. My guess would be somebody in the Gilded Crown or the Gilded Ring. That seems to be where she's doing the majority of her business with. I can put out some inquiries on like who's working the Gilded Crown right now. Usually we have some operatives in there, but if they can get information out to me, that's another thing. They're usually pretty deep undercover.
Right.
Well, she's been sending messages pretty regular like. Maybe we follow one of them.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate it. If we just get her
It's only day 1.
2.
2 now.
Day 2. Yeah. I don't want to overcomplicate it. If we don't care about the cargo, then the easiest thing might be to just have her. Well, shit. I mean, we could just.
I mean, we don't really care about the cargo, but
Right.
she's got
You
a basilisk.
broke.
That
You
seems like it could be nice.
You broke in once. How it was pretty easy, right? I mean, to get in. Can we place?
I mean, I pretty much just walked onto this ship and did what I wanted.
Right. No, that's not the one. Because we can't. I had an idea, but then I remembered we can't kill her. So, you know, because I was gonna say like we could just write some papers up that say that look like it's her. That in the event something happens to me, possession of the ship moves on too. But I don't know if lockup is gonna be considered. You know,
Right.
I don't know how to draw that up in a legal sense. Shit.
Wait.
We need to know who she owes money to.
I got a specific question.
No, but that's something you guys could definitely look into. Like ask around and see, who's backing her, who if there is somebody backing her, things like that.
Do we have anybody who could make something to remove the statue effect?
Yeah, I do think we can come up with that. Give me a day, and I can have you probably a potion that would remove the effects of the basilisk stare.
Because I'm thinking, if she gets statuified by her own basilisk, well, she can't own her ship anymore because now she's a statue.
Ooh, that's good.
And
But
then
when she comes to,
by the time all of the she's a statue. Well, I suppose we just see if she had anybody else who could take care of this, because she doesn't have enough money to pay to have herself not statuified.
the issue comes with when she comes to, because we want her to realize that she's lost everything. And if she still has a leg to stand on, that the ship was stolen, then it gets into courts, and it gets into he says, she says, and she may end up with the ship again.
Right. The best thing is figure out if she owes money to who, and which we think she probably does. Find that group and figure out if she may already have the ship up for collateral too. Like we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Right.
Right. So I think the next thing we do is find out who she's talking to and get a ring. And find out who she owes money to and what kind of money she owes.
Yeah, if it's enough, that would legally.
If this basilisk is what she's trying to sell, well, she's got her ship up as collateral on return of, we should take away the basilisk.
Right. If we do that, that puts her up shit creek.
Either we could actually steal the basilisk or get the basilisk
Reese,
confiscated or
how
whatever.
much does a basilisk go for these days, Reese? Is it worth trying to go ahead and pick that
I
up?
honestly can't say that we've ever moved a basilisk through any of our fences. That would be a first. Exotic animals, creatures, things like that. I don't know. You could probably, like, if she's actually got basilisk eggs
I,
still.
I don't know if she specifically has eggs still. I know
Oh,
there's at least one hatched in her cargo hold.
see, it's kind of interesting. I've heard of Wizards of the Order. I've heard of them trying to procure basilisk eggs because they can be trained. They're not. I mean, I would never do it. That sounds just like a really dumb idea. But they can apparently be trained to operate as guards of some sort. So I've heard of experiments and stuff like that. So if there's actually a basilisk egg, I feel like that would probably fetch. I wouldn't think anything less than 700 gold.
Right.
For a live one, I don't know. I guess it depends on the right buyer. Maybe 3, 4, 500 gold, something like that.
And you'd be able to front us some gold to make it look like this is all going to go down, right?
Sure, I can get you some gold
Because we need. I mean,
on
obviously,
loan.
you're
On
right, right.
loan.
Of course. I mean, but it's going to be a you show me yours, I'll show you mine kind of thing.
I understand.
Even if it's
How much do you need?
if we get 100 gold in a box with a fake top on it, so that it looks like it's more than what it is. You know what I mean? Like, let's not. Because I don't want to be on the hook for a solid 7 if shit goes wrong. Uh,
Fair enough.
but if we get a box that looks like it'll hold 700 gold and a way to put some gold in it and make it look like it's all there, perfect.
Sure, I can. I actually can probably get you that real quick. Give me just 1 second. He goes in and
Hmm.
he actually moves a door that wasn't visible there before, and opens it up, and it's like a storeroom. And he comes back out a few minutes later with a box of about 150 gold in it. It's a much bigger box than than 150 gold would need. So something similar to what you're describing.
It's almost like somebody's used this scam before.
Almost like he kind of laughs. He's like, yeah, it's. I feel like this probably wasn't an original idea, but
Doesn't have to be original. The good ones always work.
exactly, exactly.
All right. Do we have a way to turn people to stone? Could you get that in a day?
Uh, 2 stone.
Yeah.
That's much more tricky than returning people from stone. Um, I don't think I can get you that specifically. That not in a timely manner. That would take weeks.
Is there a preventative step something you can take so that you can't be turned to stone?
I think a mirror works.
Um,
Fuck off.
don't look at it. That's what I would. That's what my preventative step would be. Just don't look at it.
All right.
Wait, I made a pretty good nature check. Do I know if the basilisk can just turn you to stone, or if the basilisk and you have to, like, make eye contact for that to happen?
You know that usually you have to like make eye contact. It doesn't just like turn you to stone. It's a yeah.
So I'm gonna put a sack on the basilisk's head.
All right.
One way to do
while,
it.
while it's sleeping.
That's one way to do it.
All right. So we've got.
Reese, I might need a couple of vials of acid. Not
Acid.
positive, but I might need a couple of them.
Okay.
Right.
I can probably hook you up.
Well, I appreciate you meeting with us and kind of clearing a couple of things up. It's going to make us a bit
No
easier.
problem. No
We've
problem.
still got a couple of things we're going to run down, but I mean, one way or the other, it's going down. She's going to lose the ship. That's easy. Uh, we're just going to have to put in a little bit of legwork. Uh,
Oh shit. Hey, so the cost of a sailing ship is 10,000 gold.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
If that ship is up for collateral, then man.
But if she was so sure that she was going to get paid what she owed, or at least be able to make payment,
She might.
she would just she would write, if it was a sure thing, you're like, oh, this is going to come in, and I need to here, just take this as collateral for 2 days until I get paid, kind of deal. Like she might write something like that. She wouldn't. Maybe she would never would, but we can forge that and get that to the right people to go to the circle. Like, oh, by the way, Captain said in good faith for you to hold on to this kind of thing. And then that puts it in their hands. She gets pinched. She can't pay. They open it up, realize that it's basically a collateral deed that she's written to them in good faith, and then they take ownership of the ship.
But who is the one taking? Who are you guys putting the ship onto?
I thought we didn't care. It'll go to the Gilded Circle. The Gilded Circle will do whatever they want with the ship.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that still works. I mean, the Gilded Circle can put somebody in charge to run trade through that ship. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a deed of, like a seller's deed. What we're saying is, like, she put the ship up as collateral if she owes them money. So she can't pay because she's been arrested. They can take that and say, this woman can't pay us now because she's in lock.
Right.
Here's these papers that show that it's collateral. We're taking over the ship.
All right. Sounds good to me.
I mean, it's a plan.
That's a plan. All right. So you guys break from your meeting with Reese, who's investigating who her backer is, or who she owes money to?
I was planning to just follow the messengers.
Okay.
From her room, essentially.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to call it quits pretty soon, guys.
Oh yeah, it's getting pretty late.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
It's a lot harder when you're not just smashing things in the face.
That's true.
It takes a lot longer.
It's a lot more planning involved.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that late. Yeah, we should probably call it at this point.
It's pretty exciting though. I will say that.
I hope you guys are having fun.
I like it.
I'm loving this.
Because there's literally 1,000 different ways to do this, and it's
there's like a ton.
I want to know how far off book we are.
How far off book?
Yeah.
So the adventures, I really like how the guy writes his adventures. It's like he plans it to be very open-ended. So there's very little like railroading even in the adventure and how it's written. So it doesn't matter how far off-road you guys go or how far off path. I really like how they're done so far.
Because I feel like, there's probably some really stupid, simple thing that we're missing here that we just didn't do that we should have done. Because it's only the second mission.
I don't think there's anything like that.
Maybe there isn't. I just feel like there should be because it's literally like the second thing.
I will say that because of the way gameplay went tonight, I am absolutely changing what I was going to do at 4th level. Because I'll be damned if that mobility feat is not going to be nearly as important as me having my dexterity at an 18.
I mean, I think it's I'm really enjoying it. I think it feels great.
Well, one thing I learned.
What's that?
One thing I learned is that I can make some money playing this damn game.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, if I thought we could get her to gamble away the ship, I would, but like again, 10,000 gold for a ship, like she'd have to. That
There's
seems like
no way that she would put that down on a game unless she was really in trouble.
But her honor said that she already has. That's how she won it.
That's right. She said that she won
not
it from.
really, but
Yeah, yeah. She said she won the
Yeah.
ship in a game. That's how she got possession of it in the first place.
Yeah.
But alright, I'm gonna go, guys.
All right.
Good game.
Good game. Bye,
You know,
bye,
you could also-
interwebs.
You could also go like
bye to the
you
internet.
you could go like a million different ways